in this conversation, I'll try my best to demystify the entire bank auction process, right? In the beginning, I'll try my best to set the context as to what this bank auction process is all about, break it down into parts, right? And give a glimpse of all of these steps, right? Each one of these steps is a process. It's very difficult to get into minute details of each one of this process, but at least I'll try my best to at least break it down into its first principles so that at least you know the fundamentals. Then we can always amplify it, right? Once I set the context, once I break it down into its first principles, fundamentals, you know the fundamentals, then we can go into a Q&A where we can handle all the sales objection questions or the objections that would have built up in the process, right? And also, I'll try my best to not drive you into sleep, but this is going to be monotonous for sure, okay? So whenever you feel sleepy, you can just walk up, you can just stand up and walk down. Nobody's going to judge, right? It's very clear. The conversation is so monotonous, so much of facts, the brain will shut down, right? Because it's easy for me to talk facts, but difficult to consume, right? The moment you strain your brain on too many facts and try to consume too many facts, it will shut down, right? And in another 10-15 minutes, we'll try to serve coffee also, so that I'll try my best to keep your brain alive, right? We'll make it interactive, right? That's how it is. I mean, this is the fact, right? So now to drive your sleep away, so I have my first question, okay? What do you think is the core product of the bank? Because the core component of this whole auction process is the bank, right? Bank or the financial institutions. What do you think is the core product of the bank? Okay, loans, right? Insurance. Okay. Right, loans, insurance, assets. If I break this loan and insurance further down, I think it all boils down to money, right? If you ask me, money is the core product of bank. When it gets packaged, it turns into loans and all of that, different kinds of loans. But money is the core product of the bank, right? If money is the core product of the bank, what do you think is the highest risk faced by the bank? The repayment, right? Default, the borrower would have been troubling the bank in terms of repayment, right? This is the highest risk. Default is the highest risk faced by the bank, and money is the core product, right? If default is the highest risk faced by the bank, don't you think banks have to have tools to measure the risk before giving money? And they have to have tools to mitigate the risk post giving money, right? Once you give money, there's no measurement, you have to mitigate, right? But before giving money, you can measure, correct? Okay, this is established. Now let me break down loans, right? Broadly speaking, there are two kinds of loans, right? One is secured loan, the other one is unsecured loans, right? So we are not focused on unsecured loans. Let's set aside unsecured loans. Okay. Now, when it comes to secured loans, there are two kinds of collaterals, right? The collateral can be movable. The collateral can be immovable. Movable is anything that moves, right? It can be a vehicle, it can be a machine, it can be furniture, blah blah blah. Anything that moves. Now we are not focused on movable collateral. Let's set it aside. We are only focused on immovable collateral, which doesn't move, which can be a land, building, right? Apartment, whatever, it doesn't move, right? Now the focus is only on a secured loan with an immovable collateral, right? One is this, secured loan, immovable collateral. Now the focus is not on the tools available for banks to measure the risk, because the money is already given here. Let's set it aside, that is also gone. And the focus is on the tools available for the bank to mitigate the risk post giving money. Now the further focus, if I split it down, the focus is on secured loans, immovable collateral. Now, what are the tools that are available with the banks to mitigate the risk with secured loan and immovable collateral? That's the focus, right? Did I establish the foundation? It's clear, no? Right? Now there is a concept called NPA in banking. Okay, NPA is applicable across. It's not different for secured loan. It's not different for unsecured loan. It's applicable across, right? The expansion of NPA is non-performing asset. A loan account gets classified as NPA if a borrower fails to pay 3 consecutive EMIs. You're getting my point? If a borrower fails to pay 1, 2, 3 consecutive EMIs, 91st day, right? Account will be classified as NPA. Yeah, it's a system class. It's system driven, right? Largely, it's system driven, right? Bank can take time if they pump in again some money into it. This is where you would have seen even branch manager putting money into it, not to have the loan account roll into NPA. All those things happen inside, right? Because they have their targets, right? So, but it's a system classification, right? 3 consecutive EMIs, loan account will roll into NPA. If the bank manager do not want the loan account to roll, he has to fund. Someone else, at least if the borrower is not funding, someone else has to fund, right? That also happens because of the pressure. That's a different story. Let's read it aside. But 91st day, loan account rolls into NPA, which is non-performing asset. Okay. Post this, the mitigation activities, the tools available, the legal tools gets activated, right? Before NPA, they cannot use legal tools. Only after classifying a loan account into NPA, they can use legal tools available for recovery. This is how the system works, right? Now, the legal tool available for the banks and financial institutions in case of secured loan with immovable collateral is called ESI, which is part of SARFAESI Act. SARFAESI Act is a larger act, okay, enacted by Indian government, okay, to hold the back of the banks and financial institutions, okay. It's a larger act. Out of that, ESI is the tool available for the bank to enforce on the security if in case a secured loan with the immovable collateral goes into NPA. Too many facts? Clear, no? Enforcement of security interest. SARFAESI is SARFAESI. It's an acronym. Okay. Out of that, ESI is enforcement of security interest. I think it's self-explanatory. The bank, the procedure has been laid down to enforcement the security interest of the bank. Right? It's self-explanatory. Clear? Facts are clear? Great. Now, how this tool ESI works is, what happens when an account gets classified as NPA is, it's an absolute trust loss for the bank, right, with the borrower, right? It might be a procedure, even you and me will feel similar if somebody defaults on us when we would have given money to someone else, right? That's exactly how it works, right? Even for the bank, when an account gets classified as NPA, it's an absolute trust loss for the bank. When an absolute trust loss happens, bank wants to stop the loss, right? In the process of stopping the loss, they'll demand the entire loan outstanding. They're not demanding EMIs now, right? And ESA allows them to demand the entire loan outstanding. I think, guys, you have to listen to this. Whoever having home loan, you need to be you need to open your eyes. Bank has the capacity to demand the entire loan outstanding. I'm not asking 3 EMIs. I'm not saying 3 EMIs. The entire loan outstanding, if in case the loan account goes into NPA. And it is the discretion of the bank whether to roll back by taking 3 EMIs into a regular account or demand the entire outstanding. You don't have any control. You go to High Court, Supreme Court, wherever the law works like this. You don't have any control. It's the discretion of the bank, right? It's absolute discretion of the bank whether to roll back. You go running, even if you go running, paying 3 EMIs or 4 EMIs that's outstanding, Now it's the discretion of the bank whether to roll back the account into standard, or I don't want to take 4 EMIs, you please shut up and pay the entire loan outstanding. It's the discretion of the bank, right? Most important fact in banking, right? Now post NPA, the step 1 is called demand notice, which is part of the ESA procedure. The step 1 is called demand notice. This is where bank is demanding the entire loan outstanding from the borrower, right? Within 60 days. The timeline is 60 days, right? If the borrower fails to pay the entire loan outstanding within 60 days, then it goes to symbolic possession. Now the beauty of symbolic possession is, so this has been done specifically to help the banks, because before bank had to go to court to get the possession, right? Even now they have to go to bank. I'll tell you the difference between symbolic possession and physical possession, right? So the beauty of symbolic possession or the SARFAESI Act is, bank without going to court can take the possession of the asset. So this is where you see a lot of vacant plots on symbolic possession, right? Now to give you a parallel, if you and me rent out a house, right? If the tenant says get lost, I don't want to pay the rental, and I don't care, I don't want to exit the house also, it's going to take at least 36 months, 18 to 36 months to get the tenant out, to get that eviction order, file an eviction suit, get the eviction order, get the tenant out. It's going to be 18 to 36 months. You got the timeline, no? But the beauty of SARFAESI Act is, without going to court, they can take possession of the asset. So if it's a vacant plot, they don't have to go to court. It will be under symbolic possession. They can just go stand, plant one notice, click a picture, publish in paper stating that this property is under the possession of so and so bank. That's it, close.
Even if the original borrower is in the house or
No. Vacant plot answer. Vacant plot. No, even the house they can do that, right? Let the borrower be in the house or the tenant be in the house, right? Now they can still affix the notice, state that symbolically this house is under the possession of so and so bank. They click a picture. This is the step 2. They click a picture, publish in the paper, 2 newspapers, English and regional language. Post this, you cannot pull the borrower out, or the tenant out, or the leaseholder out. Bank cannot do all such stuff, is it? So this is where there's something called Section 14 as a tool. Okay, it's the Section 14 of this SARFAESI Act, which allows the bank to go to the CMMs here, Chief Metropolitan Magistrate, and file a Section 14 petition to get an eviction order. This is the process, right? Using this eviction order, then again the court will go, police will go, bank will go, right? And all the support will go to get the physical possession of the asset. This is what is physical possession. The physical possession happens only when the asset is being possessed by the borrower or the tenant or the leaseholder, or he is not amicable, he says get lost, I will not leave my property. Even during symbolic, if the borrower says yes, I can't pay, I'll leave my asset, then it's over. There's no physical possession as such if he amicably hands over the key, right? If there is no amicable process of handing over the key, then only then the physical possession kicks in, right? Post this physical possession, the sale, auction and sale. The auction and sale happens at 2 stages, one during symbolic, the other during physical possession, right? So you can go for a vacant plot during symbolic itself, straight away it will be put on auction portal, sale notice will be issued, and straight away it goes on auction, right? If it's under, if it's a house occupied by a borrower or tenant or whoever, you don't have access inside. If you're trying to purchase it on symbolic, then there is a room for litigation, right? When it's litigation, it's not the collateral under litigation, it's not the property documents which is under litigation. It can be a borrower walking into either DRT or High Court stating that I need some more time to redeem the asset, right? This is where the timeline can stretch for you, right? He has anybody, I mean, it's a natural justice, no? If I am the borrower, I can walk into either DRT or High Court, not telling I'll not pay the bank, but I'm telling I want some more time. Now the court is saying, okay, if 50 lakhs is outstanding, you paid maybe 20% of it, 10 lakhs now, and take another couple of months for 40 lakhs. It clearly puts out a schedule, right? If I fail to comply with the schedule, then the order becomes nullified. It's a null and void. So in the same order, it will be written that if I fail to comply with the, schedules set in the court order, then the order automatically becomes null and void. Then again, section 14 becomes enforceable. Understanding? Right? So this is.
13 also.
I think we'll start Q&A because I'll get diverted. I'll just go explain all of this. Okay, then we straight away get into Q&A. But this is clear, no? We spoke about demand notice. We spoke about symbolic. We spoke about section 14. Post section 14 order, we take physical possession of the asset. Auction happens at two places, right after symbolic possession or right after physical possession. Auction happens at two places, right? The challenge of buying a occupied asset during symbolic processes, there is a room for borrower going into either DRT or High Court and your acquisition becoming extended, your acquisition getting extended. Because there is a stay operating, right? But money is not going anywhere. So the only challenge of acquiring an asset with symbolic possession, which is occupied by a borrower or a tenant, is it can be there is a room for stretching, right? There is a room for delay because borrower can approach DRT or High Court and the stay can operate. That doesn't mean you lose your money. Money is not going anywhere. It's only a time drain that can happen in the process, but money is not going anywhere. Money is with the bank. Nowhere in the process you will pay even a single rupee to anybody outside or to an individual. Even to a banker, you are not paying anything, right? You are paying to the bank, not an individual, but in the name of the bank, right? So institution can't run away. So your money is not going anywhere. If they fail to give you possession, if the redemption happens from the borrower, let's assume the borrower pays 50 lakhs, adheres to the order set by the court, pays off everything, then you will get your money with, I think the 6% is the ROI. With that interest, you will get your money back into your account. That's how the process works. So your money is nowhere in the process, your money is going anywhere. It can only get stuck for a period because of this stay operating if you participate during symbolic. Possible, 100% possible, right? Now next, after physical possession, again the bank publishes a sale notice. So this is a procedure set under ESI to liquidate the asset. The sale notice has to get published in two newspapers again. One is English, the other one is regional language. Two papers it has to get published. And in the sale notice, they mention a couple of details, couple of parameters that you have to have a look at. One is reserve price, right? Reserve price. Now the meaning of reserve price is the base price at which auction starts. It's not the final price. Please understand this fact. It's not the final price. A lot of people ask us, is this the final price? Can I get this asset for this price? No, right? Impossible. If I say it, then I'm talking false, right? It's not the price at which you get the asset. It's the price at which auction starts, the bidding starts. If you are the only person in the auction room, then there is a possibility of acquiring the asset at the reserve price plus one minimum bid. But that I can't assure, right? Right? Because this is a public auction. It is not an exclusive auction. It is not an auction done by AuctionDunia. It is an auction conducted by banks wherein we are facilitating you all to participate. That doesn't mean I give you exclusivity in all of these auctions. Right? So this is one thing. Now you know the reserve price. Now reserve price is set by the valuator, is not set by the, there's somebody called chartered valuators who will be tied up with all of these banks. So they are the ones who do the evaluation of the asset and come up with what is the market price, what is the sub-registrar value, and what is the the fair reserve price, or they also call it as distress sale value for the bank. See, bank cannot sell the asset at market price. Nobody is going to buy. Because bank is also, there's one more parameter in the same sale notice stating that the asset will be sold as it is where it is conditioned, right? Bank is not going to invest even a single rupee on refurbishing, right? Even a single rupee on paying the tax dues, property tax dues, even a single rupee on paying the association dues. The if it's a gated community, there will be an association dues, your electricity dues, your BWSSB, Kaveri, anything, nothing they are going to pay, right? Everything will be on you, right? Everything will be paid by you. No, bank will not pay even a single rupee. Bank is not going to paint. Bank is not going to clean it up, right? Nothing they are going to do. They are going to give the asset in as it is, where it is condition, right? In also all the liabilities attached to that asset you have to bear. So then how does it make sense to acquire an asset at market price with all the liabilities kicking in? It doesn't make any sense. You would rather buy it from no broker or a square yards, spick and span, right? Spick and span with all the dues, right? With all the dues on track.
But they will disclose when in auction that the liabilities what are those.
No, they are not going to go into it. Because who's going to walk into BBMP? Who's going to go into BWSSB? Who's going to go into BESCOM? Bank is not going to do anything. That's where they simply mention as it is where it is conditioned. Right? Bank is not going to take that headache of this is the due, that is the due, nothing. Right? That's not going to happen. Right? So you understand now this parameter is clear. What is as it is, where it is. So bank is not going to refurbish also. You don't expect bank to paint, clean, nothing they'll do. They'll just hand over the key, close. Right? The entire work has to be taken care by you. Right? This is clear. Now reserve price is clear. As it is, where it is, condition is clear. There's one more parameter called earnest money deposit, which is EMD. So EMD is 10% of the reserve price, right? 10% is fixed. The 10% is not going to change because it's statutory. They can't change 10%. So if reserve price is 1 crore, EMD will be 10 lakhs. It's pretty straightforward. Now EMD acts as a gatekeeper for non-serious buyers. Now bankers do not want non-serious buyers to participate in the auction, right? This is where EMD as a component kicks in. They want serious buyers to participate in the auction. So unless you pay this EMD, you will not be allowed inside the auction room. So you have to pay EMD to participate or enter the auction room. Right? This is clear, no? EMD is just a gatekeeper to avoid non-serious buyers. Okay. Right? Now there is one more component called encumbrance nil. Right? This encumbrance can be not known to the bank. There are two conditions they'll put. This is also very important. It can be encumbrance nil. Okay, that means the bank is trying to tell you all that there is no further transaction that has happened post my mortgage with the asset or the collateral. If they say encumbrance not known to the bank, that means as per my knowledge there is nothing, but I don't know if there is anything. So this is in between. In sale notice you can also see encumbrance not known to the bank. That means you have to dive deeper. If there are any other transactions post mortgaging the asset with the bank, right? Then there is a diving deeper has to happen. You have to do the due diligence, right? Very, very important. So this parameter is extremely important for you to check whether the encumbrance is mentioned as nil. If the encumbrance is mentioned as nil and there is any encumbrance, it's the onus of the bank. You can say, boss, you mentioned it as nil. If there is any encumbrance, shut up and refund my fund, right? 100% possible because they have mentioned it's a paper publication. If the encumbrance is not known to the bank, right, then you cannot fight with the bank, right? It's very clear. That doesn't mean, so there is now one more component kicks in. Now what happens now, whatever transaction that has happened, that guy will go to court, take my property away? No, right? Now there are two classic conditions that can kick in, right? An account, too many facts. I think the coffee is there, right? You guys are there, no? You guys are there. Because too many facts, yeah, I mean, drives anybody asleep actually, right? You guys are there, no? Right. So when encumbrance is not known to the bank, right, and you have bought an asset, now two classic conditions can kick in, right? Let's assume there is a encumbrance. There is post mortgage, the borrower has executed a sale agreement, okay, and sale agreement is registered. It is reflecting in your EC, right? You haven't checked, you bought, and banks is a unregistered mortgage. So banks mortgage is not reflecting in EC, but the sale agreement is reflecting. The transaction has happened post mortgage, right? If the transaction has happened post mortgage, then bank has the first charge on the asset. Then bank has full grip on the asset. That's how it is. It's not just with the bank. It's exactly with you and me as well. I have the charge, right? And some random guy executes a sale agreement. I still have the possession of the asset, right? It's all on the first charge. Now let's assume bank has the first charge, you have full grip on the asset. Nothing will happen. Even if the sale agreement guy holder goes to court, he has to go against the borrower, right? Because it's the borrower who has committed fraud. It's a fraud because the borrower knows that this collateral has already been mortgaged with the bank. There is an encumbrance on this property. He cannot sell this, right? If he's trying to sell, it's fraud. Now the sale agreement holder has to go against the borrower, not you, right? He might try to trouble you by looping you also into this, right, court case, but you can get out of it. It's easy to get out of it. Now the next condition is the bank do not have the first charge. Someone else has the first charge. It has been sold to somebody and then mortgaged. The same borrower sold the asset to someone, right? Took money there. And then second transaction, he again mortgaged the same asset with the bank. Now this is a classic case of fraud to the bank. If you acquire this asset, you don't have any control. Because the asset is sold by the bank who do not have any control on the asset. You are getting my point? Right now? The asset is sold by somebody who doesn't have any control on the asset. Now the first charge is held by somebody who has bought before it is mortgaged to the bank. He has all the rights on that particular asset. Bank do not have any rights. When bank do not have any rights, how they can transfer rights to you, right? You are 100% not a legal owner of the asset. Then you can strictly tell 100% the loan account gets classified as fraud in this case when bank do not have any control on the asset. It's very clear, right? The moment an account gets classified as fraud, as per RBI guidelines, they cannot sell the asset, right? They cannot sell the asset. It is as per RBI guidelines, 100%. No, I mean, otherwise it's fooling around with the public, right? Bank cannot sell the asset if a loan account gets classified as fraud. Then 100% your money has to come back to you if you have invested into such accounts. If bank has first charge, then they'll not refund, right? Because they have the rights. They have absolute rights and their absolute rights have been transferred to you. You have full ownership on the asset. The sale agreement holder have to fight with the borrower, right, and try to take his money. Even if he loops you in, you can get out of it, right? 100% possible, right? When there is an encumbrance on the asset, right? I'll have them serve the coffee, okay? 2 minutes they'll serve, okay? So I think last meeting, the coffee guy slept off, right? When I asked him to serve coffee, he's waking up and preparing coffee, right? I think that was tricky actually.
What happens if the builder is also involved and whoever is the owner has taken the loan from the bank, and the builder is also involved, he has not got those money, and there will be a tri-party or treatment, or how does it goes later?
Okay. See, shall I get into this Q&A? You just hold on to this question, okay? I have another stretch to finish. right? Because this will take a detour, okay? But tripartite is a very important component. I have to explain. You have to understand what is tripartite. It's very, very important, especially when you're participating in SARFAESI. So I'm going to talk about tripartite.
And please also focus that we have to pay to the builder also, even after paying or taking part in the auction.
Okay, that also we'll talk about. Okay, just hold on to those two questions, right? Now, if the sale notice is clear, right, you have major components are reserve price, the components are EMD, the rest of the components or schedule of the property will be there, the asset, schedule of the asset, the bank, the authorized officer who's conducting the auction. These are operational stuff. The authorized officer, his contact number, the authorized officer who's conducting the auction, his name, right, bank name, right, and the encumbrance aspect. So these aspects are clear for you, no? Right, and 10%.
So you mentioned that if the property is sold to someone else, then it was sold or it was taken loan from the bank, right?
Right.
This will reflect in which document, in the EC? How do we know that it was sold before or after?
EC you have to check. If it's a registered mortgage, it's very clear. EC you can check.
What are the chances that it gets mortgaged by an institute like bank who verifies documents without getting that check that it's earlier mortgaged?
Very slim. It is slim, but collusion can happen, right?
Oh.
So yeah, so collusion can happen. I mean, you never know. We don't want you to rule out the chances, right? So we have recently seen one. I have to give you this example, right? We recently saw one transaction. I mean, we were trying to sell that asset. We were doing, so the customer who was trying to participate took the legal due diligence from us. So we were investigating into the documents, right? When we were investigating, before mortgaging this asset with the bank, it was privately mortgaged with one guy. It was privately mortgaged, right? And after that, it has been mortgaged with the bank and the loan has been given. Now it has come under auction, right? But we searched everywhere, even including we applied for certified copies, but you cannot get a release deed on certified copy. We checked with all the 5 sub-registrars, but there is no release deed from the private mortgager. So the mortgage has not been released. It is reflecting in EC, but it's not been released. There is no release. Before release, if it is released or not, we don't know. But there is no release deed, right? Release deed is not accessible, right? So we told him release deed is not accessible, right? We have checked with every damn sub-registrars, right? Release deed is not accessible. But no, the guy who has done the private mortgage, he has also not litigated anywhere. The case is not in the court. He has not filed any OS or anything against the bank, against the borrower. Nothing has happened. No case pending in any of the courts. But again, you have to take a chance. Right? It's a clear chance. If the guy litigates, then your rights are gone. If there is no release deed, the guy litigates, then you have to leave the asset. Right? It's a clear chance that you have to take. Maybe even
that private mortgage existed.
You see, it was a registered mortgage. It was a mortgage was registered, but no release deed. Release deed is not there. So release deed is not there. Then it has been mortgaged to Union Bank. Sorry, bank.
Right. You know, sale deed. What is this release deed?
You have to release the. See, you take a loan from bank. You clear the loan. Then you have to release the charge. No. Otherwise, it will.
So they will update the EC, right?
Yeah, update the EC. The charge has been released.
So that itself is the release deed.
Correct.
That is the proof that it has been released.
Correct.
The EC updation itself, that's it.
See, in this private case, EC updation will also not happen. There has to be a deed that has to be executed. It's called release deed. There is a format to it. In a bank, you can give NOC and all of that, and bank will give, there is a clear format for release of charge. But in a private mortgage, you have to execute a release deed. Right? We can say. Yes, from a bank.
But
right.
bank doesn't check. There's already EC.
No, that's what, I mean, this is the case. I mean, when she asked, right, there is a chance, I'm saying. Bank has to technically check, right? Has to know. It's a hard, because it's a fraud account now. They don't have any control on the asset. So nobody is going to ever buy this asset. If they check the documents, nobody is going to ever buy this asset. This asset is going to rot, right?
One more question. You mentioned that was symbolic auction property, right? The person who is staying there has the right to extend. He can move to court and he has the right to extend. Is there any cap on this? Like, can he extend only to certain amount of time?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
What is that set time?
2 to 3 months, maximum 4 months. Yeah. That's where I was saying it's a set timeline that they give in terms of payment. If he fails to pay or complies to pay, if he fails to comply with any of those timeline, this month, let's assume this month he has to pay 10 lakh, next month he has to pay 10 lakh. If I fail to pay that next month 10 lakh, then the whole order becomes null and void. It's not about he has to go till the end. The non-compliance of that particular step itself is the order becomes null and void. Yeah.
The ownership of having the release deed, whatever it is, that is completely on the one who has sold the property, right? It's not the bank's responsibility at all to ensure that the release has happened if it is sold.
No, 100% bank's responsibility because bank is taking it as a collateral. See, collateral is a security. Okay. You take a security upon which you don't have any control. Then what will you? How can you call it a security? Right? You cannot call it a security. If you take something as security, it doesn't matter whether it's house or anything. You have to have control on it, right? You don't have any control on something that you're taking in as a security, and no control is not as good as no security, right? It's unsecured loan now, as good as unsecured loan.
There was this recent case, a plot which was given at auction.
Okay.
There was one another owner for the plot, probably through the grandfather inheritance or something. One guy pledged it, took the loan, and it came into auction. After the auction was done, the other guy, the other owner is coming up and telling, I also own this.
Okay.
So, is it more common only with plots?
See, it's not about plot or a house. See, plot is more prone to litigation because the room for litigation is more. It's still not occupied. When you have the possession, it's very difficult to get somebody out, right? You can still at least enjoy the possession even if it's in litigation, right? Plot, you are not even enjoying the possession. It's a vacant plot, right? The room for litigation can be higher and chances of litigation is on the higher with plot. It doesn't matter whether it's bank auction or market. Even in market, when you are buying a plot, you need to be extremely wary and careful, right? Than buying a house. Because you have to construct on it. There's nothing on it, right? It can be prone to litigation. Especially if you buy a revenue site and all of that, you need to be extremely careful, right? Right? I'll just extend this and then go into what is revenue site and all of that. Okay? I think the revenue side, you have to understand what's a revenue site, right? So sale notice is done. Now from the date of publication of sale notice, you guys are there now? You guys are listening? Okay. From the date of publication of sale notice, the window is 30 days. The first sale notice is always 30 days. From date of sale notice, from the date of publication of sale notice to the auction day, the window is 30 days. If the first auction fails, starting from second auction, the window will be only 15 days. Right? This is clear, no? The window is only 15 days from the day of publication to the auction day. Right? Within this window, we have to visit the property. Post visiting, we have to, if I like the property, then I have to get the due diligence done. Then if the due diligence is good, then technically I have to pay EMD first to get all the documents, right? So this is one more thing with all the banks, because bank wants only serious buyers. If you want documents from the bank, they expect you to pay EMD, right? They generally expect you to pay EMD, right? Now I'll address all the questions, what happens to EMD and all of that, right? Once you pay EMD, you get the set of documents, okay? You get the due diligence done, right? Once you get the due diligence done, let's assume that you felt great, the advocate told you that documents are great, you can go ahead. Then on the day of auction, you would have, while giving the EMD, you would have submitted a bid form. In that, you would have given all the login credentials. Login as in your email address, contact number, and all of that. with the reserve price, with the EMD amount paid, blah blah blah. There are multiple parameters that needs to be filled. To your email, the login credential comes in. Login credential. Mostly the auction happens online, right? Mostly, largely, and only a couple of banks still do offline auctions, but largely the auctions are online, right? Now the most famous platform is Banknet, right? All the PSUs conduct their auctions on Banknet, right? Banknet is larger because most of the auctions happen on Banknet now, right? So on the day of the auction, using credentials, you log in, then increment the bid, then the process goes on. Now let's assume that your lawyer said otherwise. He said there's some challenges in the document. Okay, don't go ahead. This can be prone for litigation, right? Then now the question mark is what happens to my EMD, right? Now in this case, do not participate in the auction. My earnest request is just do not participate, just do not log into your platform. Log into the platform, the Banknet or whatever auction platform they send you credentials for with the link. Don't log in. That's it. Once you don't log in, the next day you can redeem without any deductions. Not even a single rupee of deduction is applicable. If you, for example, 1 crore is the reserve price, 10 lakh is the EMD, you get the entire 10 lakh money into your source account, however you have paid. Whichever account you would have paid from, you get that money back into your source account. Why I'm saying don't even log in is because we have had, see, technically you have to increment one bid. With most of the banks, you have to increment one bid to become the highest bidder and for you to be called a highest bidder or a successful bidder. But certain NBFCs can have you a successful bidder or the highest bidder just by participation, right? Just by participation. That means they are closing the deal at the reserve price itself. You participate and they call you the highest bidder. Now don't be if you are not interested, don't be curious and log in, right? Then if you come and tell me that Nikhil, now my 10% is stuck, I don't want this asset, then the 10% is forfeited. You go to High Court. See, AuctionDunia is just a facilitator. I am not the government, I am not the RBI, I am not the lawmaker, right? I don't have any control on the bank. I only facilitate you all, right? Right? So if you say I don't want the asset, then 10% will get 100% forfeited in such case. And we have gone through that also, right? So don't be curious, right? What happens, so how many people will participate, right? And how much it can go up to. Out of this curiosity, if you are the only person and the NBFC is declaring you as the highest bidder, then you have to purchase. There is no going back.
Are you saying that just by logging in, we place the first bid?
Correct, just by logging in. Because he is declaring reserve price as the auction price, I mean the highest price. He is not considering the increment, one increment as the highest bid.
The access to log in is shared to us by some entity, right? Which is
same entity, bank only.
Bank.
Correct.
Bank.
I mean, whichever auction platform is. There are multiple platforms, right?
Is there a possibility that this credential getting lost and someone else logging in?
No, that chance is slim. But if you can prove that, then you haven't received and someone else logged in, then that, I think we haven't faced such cases. I think 99.99% shouldn't happen, right? If it happens, I think we can do a cybercrime complaint and all of that, and then loop in bank and get the refund done. At least that's a possibility. You can complain at cybercrime that you haven't logged in. They can see the IP and all of that, right? There are cross verification that can happen, who has logged in and all of that. If it clearly proves the fact that there is a mischief that has happened, then obviously bank will refund. In such cases, 100% they have to refund. Right?
Is there a clause by the bank that we give an EMD but don't bid? I'm sure they should have something to cover that.
Don't bid doesn't?
We don't log in, right?
No, they don't tell you anything. See, they are in
They
the...
don't want to involve a lot of people. That's why they are asking for EMD, right?
Correct.
So I have now given the EMD And now, as you said, my lawyer says it might get into litigation. So you are suggesting the only way is to not be a party to it is by not logging it.
Correct.
So does the bank not safeguard itself from this step as well? Because this also can happen with many people, no?
No, I mean, you are saying the bank is insisting you to log in and all of that?
Do they have a clause? I want to know. Because there might
No.
be many people who will.
If they insist you to participate and declare you as a buyer, then becomes a litigation, right?
No. If I don't, I pay the EMD, but I don't log in at all. And I might do that many times for different.
Not a challenge. Not a challenge. Not a challenge.
There's no
100%.
clause that,
Nothing. No clause. 100% refund will happen. Yeah, you cannot be declared as a successful bidder if you haven't participated. It's impossible, no? When there is no participation, how they can declare you as a successful participant?
It's about trying to gatekeep the number of people and
that is EMD. So EMD, they are trying to gatekeep on non-serious buyers, right? So that doesn't mean they can force you to buy an asset, right? There's no force, right? But I'm saying the processes are such that if you log in, the reserve price itself can be declared as the highest bid. That's a process that you cannot question. Whether I'm declaring my reserve price as the highest price or reserve price plus one increment as the highest bid. That's a process, no?
But I would like to mention this, some of the platforms you mentioned say that you log in and do a plus one bid, then you'll be considered as the highest bidder. Or if you just log in, that EMD amount itself is considered a highest bidder.
No, it's largely oratory. I think those clauses are not that self-explanatory in nature, right? It's all fine prints and it's not that self-explanatory in nature. It's not this clear, like how you are telling. Yeah. My earnest request is, if you're not interested, don't participate. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter which bank auction. If you're not interested, don't participate. Leave it, right? Next day you can get the refund. It's pretty straightforward, and we have done so many auctions. So we have gotten whoever. See, for example, if there are 3-4, if there are multiple bids, then whoever that have paid EMD, we have gotten refunds without any trouble, right? And this was also till this event happened, wherein the reserve price was considered as highest price. We were clear that we used to say that. I mean, it's easy. I mean, we also didn't realize the fact that reserve price can also be considered, right? Because which is not done by most of the banks. None of the banks does this. Only a couple of NBFCs does this, right? This nature is only with a couple of NBFCs, not with any of the banks. Any bank that you participate, I'm saying, if an institution is classified as bank, you have to increment a bid. Otherwise, they'll not consider you as the highest bidder. But I am taking you, do not ever take a chance. If you're not interested, don't participate. Right? This is clear, no?
Banks will close the deal below the reserve price. If someone is not interested, like that.
Somebody has to buy, then. If somebody is not there, it's impossible. Then next auction will happen.
Yeah, so they will reduce the reserve price.
That depends. Yeah. Again, they'll put it on auction. Whether they reduce the reserve price or not, it's the discretion of the bank, right? So, but it will come for auction again, right? This process.
Bidding also, the highest bidder gets the property. The remaining people, the EMDs are refunded.
100%. That's how. Absolutely, they have 1 day. Now it's 1 day. Before it used to be 7 days. Now it's 1 day because of bank debt. And bank net, you have full control on your EMD, because the moment you are not a successful bidder, the money will reflect in the wallet. Click of a button, you can withdraw and it will hit the source account. So it's like a Paytm wallet, right? It's very seamless, right? Right after the auction, for example, the window is open up to 6 p.m. So right after window closes, you can withdraw. Till the window closes, you cannot withdraw. Right after the window closes, you can withdraw. So with BankNet, it's very seamless. Okay, now this process is clear, right? Now post this, the next, for example, let's assume that now 1 crore is the reserve price, okay? 10 lakh is the EMD, I have participated, okay? I have incremented one minimum bid, right? Now let's assume the reserve price, now the closing price is 1,50,000 rupees. Okay. Now as per statute, okay, you have to cover 25% including EMD within 1 working day. It's very important. If you miss this, then 10% will get forfeited and we don't have any control. So my reserve price is, the reserve price of the asset is 1 crore. I paid EMD, I got the login credentials, I logged in. Let's assume I am the only person. I had to increment one minimum bid, which is 50,000 rupees. Now I am the successful bidder. Now today I have become the successful bidder. That means in 1 working day, which is, if tomorrow is a working day, within tomorrow, then I have to cover 25% of the total sale value. Now I will explain what is total sale value. 25% of the total sale value including EMD. Now here 25% of the total sale value is 25 lakhs change, right? Because the 50,000 is there. 25 lakhs change. EMD that I have paid is 10 lakhs. That means 15 lakhs change I have to cover within that 1 working day. It's statutory, right? It's statutory. You have to cover. If you fail to cover, then this 10% will get forfeited. Second day, bank will not accept money. It's statutory. Because it's bank cannot transfer the rights to you because they have missed the procedure. See, the whole objective of this auction is you acquiring the asset is they have to transfer the rights on. If they miss on the procedure, no way they can transfer the rights, right? This procedural lapse can be questioned and the whole sale process can be set aside. So bank will not accept money on the second day. It's statutory. Within 1 working day, you have to cover. You have to. It is a have to. It's a must. Right? So you have to keep a visibility of the 25% of total sale value. Now let me come to total sale value. So 1 crore is the reserve price. I participated. 3-4 people were there. Now I happen to increment it up to 1.5 crore. I became the highest bidder. Right? Now my total sale value is 1.5 crore. Not 1 crore, right? My total sale value is 1.5 crore. 25% is 37.5 lakhs. I have paid 10 lakhs. Now the coverage that I have to do is 27.5 lakhs, right? So don't assume that EMD is 10%, I have to pay 15 lakhs. That's not the math. The math is, the 25% math is on total sale value. It's not on reserve price. The math is not on the reserve price. Right? You need to be extremely clear about it in terms of your visibility. Right? When I say visibility, let's assume 1 crore is the reserve price. Now my appetite for this asset, I check on the market value, all of that, and come to a conclusion that I can go up to 1.5 crores. My appetite for this particular piece of asset is 1.5 crores. And I'm absolutely clear, I have a visibility of 37.5 lakhs. Right? This is extremely important. Otherwise, you get on a treadmill. You start running because 10% will get forfeited. If you simply extend it and don't have visibility on the rest coverage and you're thinking I will go for loan and cover, no. All that will not happen. Right? There's no time for loan. Where is the time for loan, right? 1 working day, there's no time for no. It's impossible to get a loan on within 1 working day. It's impossible, right? Nobody will give you a loan before you acquire an asset. The sale confirmation has to happen now. You have to freeze the asset, then somebody will come and lend you, right? Unless you are a successful bidder, the asset is not freezed for you. Once you freeze, then the whole loan process, all of that will kick in. Before freezing, no loan, nothing, right? That means you have to have a visibility of 25%. Very clear, right? Next, you have, I'll just finish this, and then we go to Q&A. Yeah.
Who are we paying this rest of the 25%?
Bank. Everything to the bank.
Not to the bank, right?
No, this is directly to the bank. Even the money from BankNet will go to hit the bank.
We should have the bank details, account details.
That will come to your, the moment you become the highest bidder, an email will be sent to you including the bank account details and the breakup. That this is the total sale value. You have paid this much, which is EMD, and the 25% coverage is so much with the account details and all of that. The mail will come to you.
We need to save it beforehand, right? The bank details to transmit the large amount.
No, you can go to bank and give a check. That's a possibility. So you can transfer it. That's not a. See, even if you save it, if these are the limitations. I don't know. I mean, limitations will allow you because largely in a consumer banking, the limits are 4-5 lakhs. If it's not a business banking, 4-5 lakhs are largely the consumer limits for a day in terms of NEFT and RTGS. Even if you save the account, you will still get stuck because you have to transfer 27.5 lakhs. Right?
So what would be the preferred way?
You walk into a branch and give a check, no? You can fill the.
Even that needs 2-3 months.
No, check they can immediately transfer. They'll do RTGS and NEFT. You can fill the form and they have the instruments to do it. One working day, you can do it. Yeah, they can transfer the money. 100% possible because every day regularly we do it. That's 100% possible, but you have to walk into branch. Online, it's not possible because the sums are larger. It's not 1 lakh, 2 lakh. You cannot transfer online. You'll start racing if you try to do online, right? You'll start racing multiple accounts, this, that. So rather you just walk into your home branch or any branch wherever you have your accounts, give a check, they'll do NEFT or RTGS. That's how exactly it works, right? The next step is the coverage that has to happen is 75%, right? You have already covered 25%. The next coverage that has to happen is 75%. Then the mail, once you pay this 25%, they'll issue a sale confirmation certificate. The sale confirmation certificate freezes the asset in your name, right? They give you something called sale confirmation letter or certificate, or let's call it a letter. The letter freezes the asset in your name, right? It also mentions that you have a window of 15 days to cover it, the 75%, otherwise we will forfeit 25%, right? But as per statute, as per the law, you have a window of 90 days, right? But bank tells you that in the sale confirmation, they'll mention that the window is 15 days, you have to cover 75%, otherwise I'll forfeit 25, just to hurry you up, right? But otherwise, the window is 90 days. 91st day, they'll not take money. They cannot take money, right? So either you arrange the funds on your own or you take a loan. That is your, that is your call, clearly. But you have to cover 75% within that window of 90 days. It's very, very clear. If anybody fails to cover the rest 75% within 90 days window, 25% will get forfeited. There is no refund concept here, right? It will go to Tirupati only for sure, right? There is no refund concept in banking, right? So this also is clear. Now the next question is, if I can't do self-funding, can I get a loan? Lastly, most of us are reliant on loan. When it comes to loan, we suggest only A khata properties, you can get a loan. If it's a B khata, loan is impossible on an auction property, right? Now I'll explain what is B khata and A khata. I'll just finish this auction process and I'll explain what is A khata, B khata. Only if it's a A khata, loan is a possibility. If it's a B khata, you have to do self-funding. Loan is not a possibility. If you try to get a loan thinking that some NBFCs will fund this and that, chances are slim, but as and how the date nears, you'll get on a treadmill, right? As and how the window closes, right? 45 days, 50 days, 60 days, loan is not happening, you'll get on a treadmill. And I'm absolutely clear, I don't want to get on a treadmill with you. Run it all by yourself. Later you can do LAP, loan against property. Once you acquire an asset, sales certificate issued, registered, you can do a LAP, loan against property. But during the auction process, the chances of getting a loan on B khata asset is slim, right? I am saying impossible because I don't want you to take a chance. You take a chance and whoever NBFCs that you're discussing with lifts his hand, then you are on a treadmill. Because there is no refund. Refund is possible only if there is account is fraud or any challenges with the property. Now there is no documentation challenge as such. It's only B khata. Now the NBFC is lifting hands, stating that I can't fund you. I can't fund a B khata auction property, right? Now you are getting on a treadmill, right? We don't want you to get on a treadmill, right? We want to make it clear. If you still want to take a chance, you take a chance. It's your call. You had a discussion with any of the NBFCs, they're ready to fund, you want to take a chance, you take a chance. But if you ask me, don't take a chance because it becomes a treadmill. NBFCs can anytime lift their hands.
So in khata properties, we can get the loan.
Yeah, khata you can get the loan.
From the banks itself.
From the banks itself. Yes, generally that's khata is what we assist. B khata we don't. Straight away we tell people that we can't assist you, right? And there is every possibility of you getting on a treadmill. Right?
What happens to the excess reserve price? Let's say reserve price was 1 crore and the highest bidder was 1.5 crore.
Okay.
So that 50 lakh will go to the original borrower because bank had
No. The entire money goes into loan outstanding, right? The entire money gets adjusted to the loan outstanding. If there is any excess after adjusting the loan outstanding, then that money goes to the borrower. So my loan outstanding is 2 crores, right? And after selling the asset, bank, for example, the property asset got closed at 1.5 crores. After adjustment, I still have to pay 50 lakhs, right? So it can be both ways.
And another question regarding re-auction. So up to 3 times the property can come for re-auction, right? Or is there
any number of times, because bank wants to sell an asset.
And for every re-auction,
there's no limitation in terms of how many auctions.
And for every re-auction, they reduce the price.
It is discretion of the bank.
No, they reduce because I participated in an auction
Okay.
with the private bank.
Not all actually.
So why? So it was a very prime property. It was
Okay.
They were quoting 24 lakh. Market value was 45 lakh.
Okay.
So first notification, no one came. After 2 months again, it came for re-auction.
Okay.
It was 23.5.
Understood.
Even then, no one participated.
Understood.
It was a physical possession.
Understood.
Then bank reduced it to 21.5 lakh.
Understood. So I am saying I want to use this word called discretion of the bank. I cannot say that it's the process where every auction they keep reducing the price, right? They can reduce the price, they might not reduce the price. That's 100% possible, right? But it's completely discretion of the bank, in terms of reduction of the price for next auctions, right? There is no process as such, procedure as such that they have to reduce. It's not a law, right? There's no process. Right? So let's assume you have covered the entire 75%, 100% is covered. Now, bank issues something called sale certificate. It's not sale deed here. It's not called sale deed. It's called sale certificate. Okay. Now, sale certificate is as good as a sale deed. Okay. It transfers all the rights of the property onto you via sale certificate. This sale certificate, you can take it to sub-registrar and get it stamped. Right. Then the registration happens. You take the possession of the asset. And then before sale certificate getting stamped, now the e-khata has to happen. Right now, the e-khata is mandatory. Without e-khata, you cannot register an asset. First, the e-khata will be in the name of the bank. Bank registers the asset in your name. Post registration, you can get the e-khata transferred from bank's name to your name using the sale certificate. You can upload the documents and get transferred. There is a process, right? You have to move the e-khata from bank's name to your name, right? And then you have to take care of the rest of the assets, the rest of the aspects. This is your BESCOM, BWSSB, all of that will kick in, refurbishing the house and all of that. But this is the entire, process or the fundamental of participating in an auction, right? Now let me get back to this A khata, B khata, because there's a lot of confusion in terms of understanding what is an A khata, what is a B khata, what is E khata, right? People have too many confusion in terms of A khata in all of this, right? Let me give you.
Yeah. So auction is generally for what duration?
The window is, as I mentioned you, the sale notice gets published from the date of
I mean, if the auction is happening today, is it like 9 to 5 or what is that timing?
It depends on the bank.
Achha, they decide.
They decide.
Generally?
9 to 5. I mean 11 to 5.
11 to 5.
Yeah, generally 11 to 5. But certain banks will do 1 hour, 2 hour. Right? If nobody is participating, they close the window. It depends on the bank again. But generally 11 to 5 is the window. Unless anybody increments. Waiting period as in between this 11 to 5, is it?
Yeah.
So what happens, certain banks keep the window open till 11 to 5. They don't close the window. Like I participate, I still have to wait till 5 p.m. for the window to close. In between, anybody can come in and participate. That's a possibility. Certain banks. So with certain banks, what they do, they don't take EMDs on the day of the auction. They take EMDs before auction and close the window for EMD itself. Certain banks takes EMD even on the day of auction and have somebody participate at 4:45 p.m. Right? It's all their discretion, no? Right? We have seen in one such cases with one of the bank, 450, we said, great, nobody participated, you are the only guy, you won. 455, somebody put a bid, right? Anybody puts a bid, 10-minute extension happens, right? The window was for 5 minutes, right? 5 o'clock it was supposed to close. The moment somebody puts a bid, increments, right? The moment increment happens, then 10 minutes extension happens. This is how the process is. The window automatically gets extended for next 10 minutes. So this is how the process is.
The bank discretion, if they get the reserve price plus one bid, they can also sell over. Is that
No, nothing is predefined. I'm saying this happens only when there is only one participant. Like if there is a competition going up, all that is fine, no? I'm saying, what if in the case where you participated, you don't want the asset, you participated and reserve price itself gets declared as the auction price, successful bidder. You are the only person, no one else has participated, and you are declared as the...
Wait till the 5 p.m. or they declare it earlier only?
No, that doesn't matter, you participated. No, that doesn't matter, the window doesn't matter, no? You logged in, that's it, no?
We logged in, we waited for 2 hours, will the bank close it up or it will wait? Because some people were telling us that you can influence the bank, they will do it in your favor.
No, all that you don't listen to. So all of that timings will be mentioned in the sale notice itself, right? You will see clearly whether the window will be open from 11 to 5 p.m. and all of that. Yeah. If its window is open between 11 to 5, you have to wait till 5 for the window to get closed.
Can you see the number of bidders in the log?
No, you can't. On bank, before we could see on other auction platforms, but on BankNet you can't see. You will only see the highest price. And you will see whether you are the highest bidder or not.
Is there a minimum incremental value per bid?
Yeah, that is set by the bank. It ranges from 20,000 to up to 5 lakhs depending on the value of the asset. Right? The property value is 25 lakhs, it will be 10,000, 20,000 rupees. Right? The incremental will be 10,000 or 20,000 rupees. You can increment the multiples. Whatever price they set as a minimum bid, you can increment in multiples. You have a multiple, you can select the multiples and you increment the multiple. So if it's a 5 crore asset, it won't make sense for them to set 20,000 rupees, right? They'll set it up to 5 lakh rupees. So it's clearly on the discretion of the bank, the minimum bid value set by the bank.
And once sale is executed, expense litigation, who will be the party? The successful bidder or bank and the original borrower?
Now that depends on what's that litigation, right? Because litigation is a huge scope. Now what is that litigation is the question mark, right?
And for these auction properties, I have consulted lawyers. Most of them suggest take NOC from the original borrower, and no one provides.
No one provides.
Yes.
Why will they
that is
provide?
an additional layer of security, right?
Additionally, see, consenting witness is an additional layer of security wherein borrower is stating that I don't have any challenge. I am not going to come in between in all of that. But in most of the cases, you cannot expect a consenting witness, right? It's impossible. Nobody will come and give consenting witness. But our point is when the mortgage happens, the absolute right is with the bank. Till the loan account gets cleared, the absolute right is with the bank. When bank has the power to transfer all the rights to you, why do you want a consenting witness? That is not required technically, right? And whatever litigation he does, he can only say I am going to pay. What else he can, right? What else a borrower can do? He can only say I will pay, right? I'll pay. This is the only litigation that can arise in the whole process, right? That is one thing. Second, if there is for example, somebody has filed a partition OS in the family, they'll devise all of this. The bank will not put these assets on auction if the partition OS is running and all of that. Those assets will not come into auction. bank will first quash those petitions and only then they put it on auction. So all of these methods are to, delay the whole process, but they cannot stop the process. Auction will anyway happen once the OS is cleared. Right? We have seen multiple cases. OS, you will also see in multiple auction properties, OS numbers are written and all of that. Right? Yes.
That before going for registration, we need to go for a khata or?
Yeah, you have to. Now let me go into first khata first. You guys are there, huh?
Will you be touching the OCCC part or we just go with the part?
Yeah, OCCC also I can give you a glimpse. Yeah, please, sure. You guys are there, huh?
Are you there? You need to
No, I am there absolutely, because speaking is easy. That's what I was telling even in the beginning. Speaking is so easy, but listening, the brain has to consume. It's off, right? That's exactly what happens when the consumption starts. You guys are there, no? I'll just go with A khata, B khata. She asked for OCCC. We'll talk, the fundamentals of OCCC and try to close if you don't have any Q&A, or we can take up Q&A. Okay, but this khata is important because there's enormous confusion in terms of what is this whole khata is about, khata and this and that, right? Let me tell you what is a khata. So if you check the meaning of khata, the meaning of khata is an account, right? The meaning, what is khata? Even during our college times, we used to open that khata in one of those mamu shops, right? And pay him every month, right? It's an account that we open. Now, what is this account that gets created? Now, let me tell you, the department which is creating this account in your name is called Revenue Department, right? The department is called Revenue Department. The name of the department itself is Revenue Department. The focus is on collecting money. Making revenue out of you, right? Making revenue out of you, right? Now, how, if they don't know, now all of these assets, because you are in their jurisdiction, they'll tax you. They have the right to tax you, pay taxes. This has been happening from time immemorial, right? During your, from Mughals to British to whatever you take, everybody have been collecting taxes from lands, right? Land persons, they have been collecting taxes, right? Only British organized everything into departments. Now this is also, the Revenue Department is also being established by British, right? Now khata is an account that gets created at the Revenue Department, right? Now before an account gets created, they have to know whom to collect tax from, right? Then they have to know who is the owner of this piece of land or house or building or whatever, right? That is where they have to exactly know. They mention the name of the owner. They create khata in the name of the owner himself and mention the schedule of the asset, size of the asset, blah blah blah, and decide the amount of tax that needs to be paid every whatever duration, every year, right? And they fix up a price. This is exactly what khata is. If you hold a khata, technically you are paying money to the Revenue Department, right? Because you are paying money to the government as a secondary assistance to you, they say that yes, this guy has been paying money to me from past 5 years. He has to be the owner. He has to be the owner. They don't say he is the owner, right? So khata is not a primary document to prove your ownership of the asset. You please understand this fact. The title transactions are the primary document to prove the ownership of the asset. Khata is just a secondary, you can say it's a bona fide, it's a supporting document where government says yes, he has been paying tax, his name is there, he should be the owner, right? But government is not saying he is the owner. He is the owner, he is proven by the title transfers, all your sale deeds and all of that. The transactions that has happened over a period, those things prove your ownership. Khata will not prove your ownership. Just because you hold a khata, no. You have to have the title with you. Only then the ownership is proven. Okay. Now, how this khata became A khata and B khata is the question now. So back in 2000, I think, I'm not sure of the year, 2007 or 2008. Before that, there was only khata. There was no A khata, B khata. There was no split, right? Because post that era, 2000, 2008, Bangalore exploded and unregulated construction happened across. Recently I was passing through Electronic City. I mean, by some back road from my house. I was going through Electronic City. I literally happened to pass through two houses between the road. These two are the edges, right? Literally, I mean, it could literally scrape the car. There's hardly any space between these two houses, and the road is passing through that two houses. Now imagine the kind of construction that has happened in Bangalore, right? It's all obviously unregulated, right? It's absolutely unregulated and not as per the plan, right? Not as per the plan. Urban plan, whatever planning authority, this, that, blah, 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 everything is thrown in air and houses have been constructed left, right and center, whatever way people prefer, right? However, right, in between you see a couple of places, road is like this and road is splitting like this. In between there is a house. How can this happen, right? If somebody is drunk, he'll straight away enter the house, right? All these cases. So what do you do? So because it's unregulated, now demolition is not a possibility. So technically they have to demolish all of this because it's not as per the rules set by the planning, whatever urban planning authority. So demolition is not a possibility in India because of the, because of all the, politics and this, that, the factors, right? Demolition is ruled out, right? Now the tax was being collected only from a khata holder which was regulated. Now government said, boss, my department is revenue department. Now the unregulated houses are more than the houses that are there for the khata holders. Now what do? I'm not even charging, they are enjoying their possession, I'm not even charging them, and I can't even demolish, right? So this is where they came back with a concept called A khata, who is completely as per the plan, who has complied with all the rules of the land, right? Authority who is governing that particular piece of land, who have fully complied with the rules, right? That is called A khata. Somebody who has non-complied, who has flouted all the rules of the land set by that particular authority, he is called B khata, so that the revenue can still come into government. They created a khata in their name also, called it B khata, so that they can still collect tax from these guys. You got the point, no? You got the point, no? Clear, no? Yeah. Now the difference between A khata is fully compliant, B khata is non-compliant. Demolition is not a possibility, that's why they came up with this concept called B khata, and they're collecting revenue from all of these constructions. That's it. Now what is this E khata? E khata is just a digitized version of A khata, digitized version of B khata. Don't think that E khata will convert your B khata into A khata. All that confusions are there, nothing will happen. Don't give money to somebody thinking that now my E khata will convert this B khata into, nothing will happen, right? Before it was all manual, which was in paper, books, blah, blah, blah. Now it has been system. It is in the system. Because it's in the system, obviously E is electronic, no? Right? E means what? Electronic. Now your A khata became E khata, A khata. E khata is still a khata, right? But digitized version of it. If you are holding a B khata, that can also become E khata, but digitized version of it. Do not think E khata will convert your B into A. Nothing will happen. It is just a digitized version. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Whether it's B khata, A, it will be mentioned in that. If you go to Panchayat, if the Panchayat is the jurisdiction, they have this 11A, 11B, right? Yeah. If Panchayat is the jurisdiction, they can, see, it all depends. The khata is issued by tax collection authority. For the urban, BBMP is the authority. If you go off the urban limits, then Panchayat becomes the jurisdiction, governing authority, right? Now people ask me, now what if it's Panchayat, now what if this happens? Nothing happens, right? It's just a change of jurisdiction, right? Now the issuing authority, see, BBMP cannot issue a khata in Panchayat, it's impossible because it's not their jurisdiction. Their jurisdiction is over, right? If it hits a village jurisdiction, some Panchayat will be there. Now it's the authority of the Panchayat to issue a khata, because now the department, I mean, it's their jurisdiction and they can only collect the tax. If BBMP could collect tax, fantastic, no, they would have collected. They can't. Their jurisdiction is over. This is where Panchayat and BBMP limits come into picture. That's it.
So right now petrol is expanding. So some area place now it is coming into the BBMP jurisdiction.
Right.
So if from Panchayat it is a B khata, BBMP will give a B khata only.
100%. All those 100%. All those transitions will happen as it is. They'll not do any. So now recently the government issued that mandate stating that all the B khatas can be converted to E khata if you by complying to so and so norms and all of that. But it's so unclear. It's not clear. So don't simply give money to somebody thinking that all of these norms will be complied and my B khata will become E khata, because it's so unclear, right? If it was so clear, we would have made it a service. We didn't make it a service because it's absolutely unclear. And we don't know who's that authority within BBMP. Who's that guy who has the authority to convert? Nothing is clear, right? Nothing is clear. Yeah, too many confusions, and on top of it now census, right? Central government census is happening. Most of the authorities are with the census. They're counting people, and no work is moving, right?
So I have a question about this e-khata. When we have only 90 days, right?
Hmm.
That the e-khata should be issued in the name of bank. And I
Correct.
have seen people are not getting e-khata in 4 months,
Correct.
5 months.
Correct.
What if bank itself is not got a e-khata, so it cannot be moved to bidder? So
Bank itself has got B khata, you're saying? E-khata. Bank has got E-khata, then the transaction is easier, right? Because this E-khata is a recent situation. Most of the banks will not have. Right? 100% it's impossible.
90 days will delay how it will.
Correct. Now, in this case, we can give you an assistance in terms of assessment, in terms of whether it's a possibility or not. Right? That also we can let you know. We have done most of the khatas now only because of the census it's getting delayed.
So my point is like we have already.
But 90 days possible.
Already deposit freeze with
25%, correct.
Now within 90 days bank has to be closed.
Correct.
Bank itself did not able to get a e-khata. So,
No, bank will not get the e-khata. Certainly, generally, what happens? See, bank do not have all of these expertise. They don't understand what is khata and all of that, right? So one of us, I mean, somebody who understands has to facilitate the whole process, right?
No, so bank has a liability or not to get a e-khata? Otherwise, he will.
Bank do not have any liability. See, because the e-khata is coming into picture for sales certificate registration, no?
Correct.
Right. Now, what liability they have in terms of how you are funding?
So ideally, before they put a property in auction, they should get a e-khata copy from.
No, they will not do all that assistance.
Because it may delay my bidder.
Correct. See, bank is not worried about you, right? Bank is worried about themselves. They are not worried about any of the purchasers. 100%, no. That's how it is. Bank wants to. The focus is only on liquidating the asset and the recovery of the funds. They are not bothered about your e-khata, your loan, you running around, from whom you take assistance from. Nothing. They are bothered, and they don't have time. You have to also understand the fact that within the bank, if you have seen, and just to give you one example, here there are ARMBs of Canara Bank. They handle the portfolio from an ARB or ARMB is 2,000 crores recovery. 4 people are handling. Now these 4 people have to serve demand notice also, do symbolic possession also, go to court also, do physical possession also, publish sale notice also, do sale certificate registration also, right? And follow up with the borrower for recovery also. What they'll do, right?
So there is a high risk with current situation of banking census, everything.
Yeah.
E-khata is not issued in the name of bank.
Correct. Loan cannot be disbursed, 100%.
Right.
Loan cannot be disbursed.
Not only loan, even I will be I can't get a sales certificate.
Sales certificate will give you rights. Once you pay 100%, sales certificate. See, the whole aspect of registration is because now it becomes a public document, right? You can still hold a sales certificate and stay back. You don't even have to register. It all depends on how strong your brain is, right? You're going and spending that 7% and registering the property because you want to safeguard from someone else litigating or telling that this is my asset and all of that, right? Because now you have made the sale certificate public, right? You're getting my point, no? So this is the only, see, sub-registrar, once it registers, they put it in the register stating that so and so sale certificate, bank is the seller, you are the purchaser, all that transaction happened, you paid stamp duty, you paid registration fees, all that entry will happen and it becomes a public document. If somebody litigates, it's already public, right? You can already show the registration, sub-registrar will give the copy to court, all of that, right? If you haven't registered, then there is a room for litigation. If you have a strong brain, you can sit on sale certificate itself. You don't even have to spend that money and register. That is one case. Bank will issue sale certificate any which ways once you cover 100%, right? For loan disbursal, e-khata is 100% required. Otherwise, loan disbursal will not happen. Why? Because without e-khata, they cannot create a charge on the asset. They will also again register the mortgage. No? For them to register the mortgage, they require e-khata. Without that,
but registration is possible without e-khata as well, is it?
No. I'm saying sale certificate issuance will happen. Registration you require e-khata.
So e-khata in the name of bank, we have to get.
Name of the bank.
The name of the bank, we have to get.
So generally what they do is they give it to us. So technically wherever we are working, they give it to us. Or you have to, if it's for loan, you have to run around for sure.
No, even it is not loan. My worry is if that 90 days is left because of this circus of censor.
No, if it's not loan, you can pay, no? Then why do you have to worry about e-khata?
This bank does not have that e-khata in the name of.
That's fine, no? They issue a sale certificate. See, sale certificate is issued. 100%, no?
What is his point is not about the loan. He's saying about in his name of registration.
That's what I'm saying. The deed is drafted, no? You paid within, see, the whole window is 90 days, you have to pay money. You covered 100%. Then bank will issue a sale certificate, which is the deed. Now you have next 4 months to register the deed. Once the deed comes into picture, once you have the deed, as per law you have 4 months. Even after 4 months also you can register, but you have to pay penalty to the sub-registrar. So how this is connected?
Person from bank will go to sub-registrar along with buyer, is it? Or they will just give a letter.
Generally they give letter. They don't have to come because they have the authority. No? They can give authorization letter. E-khata has to happen. Once e-khata happens, now e-khata you can get only for the purpose of loan. Right? If it's not loan, then there is no only registration will get delayed.
It is not an auction property. Normal property is also e-khata is mandatory for registration.
Correct.
Right? So bank is one of the seller in that case auction. Right?
Okay. If it's not bank auction.
If it is not bank auction, if it is
from you are purchasing property from.
E-khata should be there with his name.
That is for registration. He can still draft a sale deed and give it to you. For stamping, you require that registration. You understand registration, no? Registration, stamping will happen. Draft will be done by a lawyer, no?
Has no relevance.
Khata is again not giving you the ownership of the land.
That is secondary.
No, draft.
Now it is mandatory to get a registration. My point is that draft is possible. Draft has no relevance. It's a paper, word document, and I get a.
By word draft, that's what I'm trying to say. He is signing, right? You drafted, the lawyer drafted the sale deed. He gave all his rights to you by signing on the draft. Now rights is already transferred. Now the sub-registrar will protect your rights. It's the protection by stamp, by you. See, otherwise why will you pay 7% of the sale value, right? It's stupid to pay 7%, right? The whole reason of paying 7%, if the transaction is 1 crore, 7% is as good as 7 lakhs.
He will ask now where is e-khata of seller.
Correct, no? Yeah.
We have to do it. As per in the auction, the bank won't do it.
Won't do
we
it.
Have to hire
you have to transfer them.
We have to hire an agent.
Correct. Even market property, you will anyway ask him to do e-khata for him to register. You will anyway insist on the registration and all of that. What I am trying to tell is registration is not required if you have a stronger brain. That's what I am trying to say. If you have a strong brain, don't care about registration. That's it.
But ultimately it is required.
For next transaction, if the other person is also strong brain, you can still transact, no? He will also purchase from you. So I'm saying you have to have a strong brain, that's it.
I got one
So the whole registration is the document becomes, the transaction becomes public. It becomes public. Otherwise, it's a private transaction. I can do private transaction. What is that?
Only the sale deed is enough.
Sale deed is enough. Nothing is required.
Even the khata is not required.
Not required.
The meter name, everything has to be done like. They just
Time frame.
the time frame will exceed. That's not the issue.
Yeah.
90 days time frame is there. Even if you don't have the e-khata by that time, your registry won't happen.
Registration
That you
won't
can
happen.
extend by paying some kind of a penalty to the registrar office because within 45 days or 60 days.
No, 4 months is the period. From the date of sale notice, you have to register within 4 months. No penalty. Huh?
If you won't do it before, maybe we won't get the e-khata, for example, in 4 months.
So, I mean, small penalty is there after 4 months.
If you don't get after 6 months,
That's what penalty. It's only penalty. Nothing will happen.
you will get registered.
But it's only a slab-based penalty.
Again, sale registration. I mean, sale deed again they will not give back, or it's only one time.
No, 100%. Sale certificate, they'll not reissue and all of that. All that will not happen. But registration is always a possibility, but with small pen. See, why? See, the Department of Sub-Registrar is sitting and collecting money. Why will they not collect money from you? It doesn't matter for them whether you come after 4 months or 6 months or 1 year or 2 years. The department is to make money, generate revenue for the government. Why will they not generate revenue? The only thing is they'll ask you, boss, the sale certificate has happened 1 year back. You have come after 1 year. Pay penalty. Because the window is within 4 months, you have to get it registered. That's it. There's no without any penalty.
One big question, right? Registration is 7% every time. 7% of the total.
See, in that, the split is 5% is stamp duty, 2% is registration, right? And there is also, if you are buying a property from market, there is 0.6% cess. I don't know what cess, whether it's education cess or some cess is there, right? It's an add-on.
Let's say 8%.
Okay. Okay.
Now, since bank will not register to itself, are we supposed to pay that money also for registration?
No, bank has done mortgage, no? Now let me come back here. I mean, this is an interesting question, right? Now the two kinds of, you guys are there, huh? So this is also one complicated thing that happens in the bank, wherein the mortgage can be registered, it can also be unregistered, right? It's both ways, right? It can be registered, it cannot be registered. If it's registered, it's not 8% they have to pay. For a mortgage, it's a separate fee that comes into it. It's in within less than 0.5. It won't make sense for the bank to pay 8% every time. How will they ever make profit if they're paying 8% as a registration? Yeah, something in that range, okay? Less than 0.5 they have to pay to get the mortgage registered, right? If they don't register, this is where I'm saying, if they don't register is also not a challenge, right? They can do simple mortgage unregistered. If the mortgage is unregistered, there are chances of this borrower going rogue and selling it off to somebody, right? Creating a sale agreement, all that is a possibility because it doesn't reflect in his EC. Now you can ask me how it's possible to sell it off because the original documents are held by the bank, right? Held by the bank, no originals. Who will buy without originals? So this is where people can fool around with certified copies stating that my originals have been lost. I only have certified copies. All that fooling around happens, right? And some stupid will purchase it, right? We have seen cases where mortgaged, sold to somebody, occupied by that buyer, and bank going and evicting that buyer.
And even one more classic.
Right? This can happen, and it's the stupidity of that buyer who have bought from this borrower without understanding the nuances.
But I have
right?
seen the case where property was mortgaged with 2 banks.
That's also possible.
Yeah, so now banks are fighting, the borrower is
So in every case, the primary charge holder or the first charge holder has the control. This is what you have to think. Whoever has the first charge has the control on the asset. Whoever has the first charge. This is a possibility. When it's unregistered, you should always check the SARFAESI. There is a portal called SARFAESI where it is mandatory for the banks to register their mortgage or add their asset into that portal whenever they take any asset into as a security or a collateral. It is mandatory. Otherwise, they cannot enforce SARFAESI. Right? Now, this is the portal where you have to type all the schedule of the property and check if it's mortgaged with only one bank or multiple banks or whoever, whatever, right? So that's the portal for you to check if it's mortgaged. Even if you're buying property from market, right? Let's assume it's unregistered. You don't know. He is telling some story. Go to SARFAESI and type the schedule. You will know if it's mortgaged, and you will know which bank it is mortgaged with. SARFAESI, CERSAI. I don't know the expansion. It has an expansion. But that's CERSAI. SARFAESI. It's mandatory for every bank. If they don't mortgage, they can't sell. Right? They can't enforce SARFAESI. It's mandatory. So they will mandatorily register the asset in SARFAESI. So SARFAESI, sorry. Right? And last question, that's also an interesting question that he asked. What is tripartite? See, please understand this aspect. See, tripartite is generally executed when you try to acquire an asset which is not constructed. Right? The launch phase, during the launch phase, when there is no asset only, your flat is still in the air, right? It's in the air. So during that time, based on the plan, you acquire an asset, you pay that initial token advance and get a tripartite done between the get a sale agreement, and with that sale agreement you go to bank, get a loan on your name. See, please understand this fact that even if builder runs away with half constructed building, never gives you possession, it is very clear from the bank that the collateral that you are giving is a security. The loan is taken in your name, you are the borrower, so they always go behind you. So there are a lot of cases that we have seen because the handover hasn't happened. I don't want to pay the loan. If you don't pay the loan, your credit report will get screwed. Your CIBIL will get screwed. And they can bring in attachments on other properties of yours. That's a possibility. By via going to DRT. 100% possible, and we have seen all of these cases. Via DRT, they can figure out what other assets are there in your name, right? Go to DRT. DRT means Debt Recovery Tribunal, and attach all those other assets. It's 100% possible to recover the dues. You go to High Court, Supreme Court, you have to go against the builder because builder has defaulted. Bank has not given the loan on builder. He has given the loan on the credentials of yours. And you hold that absolute responsibility to pay back the loan even if the asset is not handed over to you. That's builder's problem. Right? You have to pay the loan. They can come after you. Right? 100% banks can come after you. They have the tools to come after you. They can bounce a check, file a 138, they can go to DRT, attach other assets of yours. All this is possible. They'll screw up your CIBIL. All of this is possible. So that you never get a loan anywhere. Once the CIBIL is screwed, nowhere you get a loan. That's 100%. Right? All this is a possibility. So do not think that just because builder defaulted, asset handover never happened, I just ghost the bank. You cannot ghost the bank. They have the tools, the means to come after you, for sure.
But these kind of property should not come into auction, right? Because
no, those things will not come into auction. I'm saying these are the launch phases. No? When the building itself is not constructed, how will it come for auction?
So like bank can wait for a construction, then they will try.
No, builder has run away. Builder will not. No, builder has run away. I'm saying he has run away. He is not going to construct it, right? So in this case, when you take a loan, because the flat is not there, they execute something called tripartite. So this is where the tripartite is coming into picture, okay? Because they cannot execute a sale deed. Because the asset is not there, numbering has not happened, nothing has happened. It's only on the plan. You please understand this fact that tripartite, it means sale agreement. It's not a sale deed. It's a sale agreement. So sale agreement will not give any rights to the bank or to you. The rights is still held by the builder. It's all rights transfer, no? Sale agreement will not give any rights to you. It's just an agreement that I am going to give this flat to you, but sale agreement will not give any rights to you or the bank, right? Rights are still held by the builder. Let's assume you are trying to acquire an asset from the auction, which is in tripartite. Sale deed has not happened. This also happens. Why? Because in certain cases we have seen dummy borrowers, right? If the marketing didn't go well, there were 10 flats which was unsold. The builder requires cash flow, no? What will he do with the apartment? He will plan dummy borrowers and they move it off. Now the onus is on the bank to sell all of these assets, which is still on the tripartite. Sale deed is not there because the borrower is gone long back, right? Borrower is not there for sale deed to happen, right? Now again listen to this, sale agreement will not give any rights to the banker. When there are no rights with him, he cannot sell an asset via SARFAESI, right? SARFAESI as an act requires the banker to have all the absolute rights. The mortgage has to be absolute. Only then under SARFAESI he can sell the asset, right? If it's still under tripartite, he has to go to DRT, bring an attachment and sell it via court auction. This is the route. If you see an asset, you check with the bank, when are you going to DRT and bringing an attachment. If you acquire an asset via, banker does that, right? So we see a lot of tripartite assets coming on SARFAESI auction. Don't acquire, right? Don't acquire, because banker do not have, when they don't have the rights, how can they transfer the rights on your name, right? The builder has to come then for the sale deed.
How do we know that it's a tripartite?
You know that you have to vet the documents. When there is no sale deed, it's still under tripartite. You can vet the documents. You have to vet the document. And this is one more very important fact. I think I'll try to conclude with this. Do not use ChatGPT to vet the documents, please. ChatGPT will hallucinate. ChatGPT or Gemini or blah blah blah, any LLMs do not still have the lens to vet the transactions. Transactions are very, very complicated, right? It can easily slip through your eyes. Property transactions are complicated, titles are complicated, because so many partitions, this, that, inheritance, all of that will be involved in any of the assets. When you verify an asset from mother deed till the bank mortgage, so many different kinds of transactions are involved, right? ChatGPT cannot pass through all of those nuances, and even you cannot. You need a strong lawyer to pass through all of those nuances and say that, okay, go ahead, great. If the sale happens via DRT, then great, because it's a court auction, then court can transfer absolute right. The entire, whatever challenges that were there backwards, everything gets nullified if it's via DRT, right? Nobody can question a DRT auction.
Coming back to my previous question, right? So for registration, it is 8%.
Right.
Do we need to pay the money for registering it to the bank's name first before we put it?
No, that is not there. Bank's mortgage is already there, right? Under SARFAESI, bank can sell the asset in your, bank can issue a sale certificate, and bank can also register. Bank is the seller now. Bank can also register asset in your name. They don't have to further register and all of that.
No,
yeah, it's already.
He's asking who has the onus to pay that 8%, whether the bidder or the bank.
Buyer has to pay, no? Why bidder? Why bank has to pay? You acquire an asset from market, do you think the owner will pay? You have to pay, 100%. Anything you have to pay. Yeah, see, broadly speaking, when it comes to an OC is applicable for the tower or the building, right? CC is for the land, right? This is a very, very clear distinguishing that you have to have. OC is not about the land, OC is about the building. This is where you hear builders saying, there are some 10 towers, I have received OC for these 2 towers, right? You can hear this. Now CC is about the land compliances. There's so many land compliances. Your sewage treatment plant, for an apartment, there's so many compliances. The road widths, the entry exit, the land share, the fire. There's a land share wherein how much of, out of that 1 acre or 10 acre land parcel, 2 acre land parcel, how much of it they can construct, how much of it has to be a vacant space. So there's so many compliances for the CC to get issued. So generally, in my experience, what we have generally seen is OC will be received, CC is never received, right? OC is always received because it's building. Now the authority will come and check whether the building is constructed as per the plan or not. Whether as per the plan it's 4 floors, whatever number of flats, whether this builder has constructed one more floor or not. If the one more floor is constructed, no OC. That's why they call it as builder floor. If you are acquiring an asset in builder floor, right, the whole building will not receive an OC and the builder floor. That's called builder floor, right? No
OC is
OC.
optional because I've heard of the vice versa cases where the CC is there, but they say OC we don't do because it's in CBD. It doesn't make sense for us to go for
No, I mean OC is as per the plan, no? Because based on the OC itself, khata gets issued. If there is no OC, then your khata will become, then you have to acquire a B khata then.
No, that's what I'm trying to make out.
Yeah.
What is the catch there that they're trying to sell it in such a way where they're
No, because if you have any document or anything, you tell me, because
I haven't carried today.
Because I'll end up giving a wrong answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because even what I've heard is sometimes the land is A khata, but the building is B khata.
Possible, no? Because it's not built as per the plan. It has to be built as per the plan. That's where when they add builder floor, no OC, that means it's B khata.
So we were in the notion that if land is A khata, it is CC. If the building is B khata,
No.
So it's a misconception.
See, because land again gets converted, no? When the builder constructs on top of the land is getting converted, right? Land has been converted into a road, the free space, play area, blah blah, so many compliances on top of, if you construct a building on top. If you are not complying to all of the sewerage treatment, how you manage the sewerage, all of that, so many compliances. If you don't manage the road widths for the amount of construction that you are doing, parking slots, so many compliances are there. No compliance, no CC also. It's not only vacant plot, why do you require a CC?
Is it a CC or something word ECC is also there? It is CC.
I think E is always a electric version, right?
Okay.
You can send it to B.
It is a CC only.
Yeah, it's a CC. Yeah.
What comes to your mind when I say CC is there but OC is not found? Is that a red flag property?
See, CC is about the land. I mean, he has done all the compliances.
Yeah, so
but OC is not there, means you will receive a B khata, that's it. Red flag means it's
just
B khata. Khata. You will receive a B khata. See, what happens with B khata is marketability, no? It's difficult. I mean, the price, the negotiation will happen on the price because it's B khata.
Even nationalized bank don't give loans.
Loans is a challenge, correct. Marketability, saleability, and loans will become a tricky aspect when it comes to B khata.
But they say because it's in the CBD area.
All those are marketing tactics, right? Marketing.
Yeah.
I got caught up.
Bank would give loans.
Okay.
How come
It's
it's
marketing.
coming under auction? Because some bank gave loan, right, on this particular property.
Yeah. See, nationalized banks do not generally give loans on B khata. They don't take that risk because they are giving the better rates. See, it's all risk versus reward, right? More the risk for the bank, more the reward. So if you are getting a non-compliant property, loan on non-compliant property, somebody is funding, he's taking the risk. That means he wants more reward also. That means he's charging you 12%, 13%. It's from NBFC. It's the same fundamental, risk versus reward, right? So when he is asked for a fully compliant, clean property, then obviously he'll negotiate on the rates. You will sit and negotiate on the rates. No, the collateral is so clean, you better give me a better rates. So then you start with 7%, 7.5 and all of that, right?
75%. We have to. I want to take a loan.
Okay.
I have to take from same bank which is going to in auction.
No, any bank. See, generally, एक other property, same bank will fund, in our experience, or you can take it from a different bank, right?
So that these letters on basis other banks also can fund it.
The sale confirmation letter. So other banks can also give, because the asset has been freezed in your name, right? Possible, yes.
What are the charges we incur apart from the total sale value? What are the other charges? So
Which one you're saying?
We give a successful bid. And we are the buyers. Is there any
See,
other charges?
so many, obviously, no, we spoke about as it is, where it is condition, right? So all the dues related charges, so this one, registration, dues, refurbishing, everything comes in on you, on top. Everything is on you.
concept is where it is whatever we buy apart from auction.
Yeah.
Registration fees, as you mentioned, 8%.
Right.
And is there anything similar?
No, not 8%, 7%.
7%.
Yeah.
But you said some 0.65 is also.
That is for market properties, yes.
So is there any other things apart from this that we'll have to pay for the auction process?
Khata. So for khata transfers, you'll have to spend money, right? Bescom. What if the meter is gone? Right? There's no meter only. For reconnection, you have to spend. Right? Bescom old dues you have to spend. What are the? It's in the now because it's in under physical possession. If it's not for, it's sitting there for 1 year. The dues would have accumulated, right? Water bills. Water generally won't be there. See, in a typical case, what we have seen is Bescom highest that we have seen, including reconnection, 50,000-60,000 rupees. Residents, not commercial. That's what we have seen. Right? Water generally won't be there, 5,000-10,000 rupees. Right? This is what we have seen in our experience. And the registration, which is 7%. And refurbishing is your figment of imagination. I cannot comment. Right? Refurbishing and the tax dues. Tax dues also we have seen less than 1 lakh in a residence case.
Taking loans and loan charges, again mortgage will be
All those, that is procedural. Yeah, all those will kick in. All those will kick in. Anywhere that will kick in. So all those are procedural in nature. Right. Symbolic, you have to take that risk of extension. If the borrower walks into court and gets a stay order on the process, then the stall's there till the stay is evicted. I mean, stay is quashed, right? If he pays in full, then you get your money back. The asset goes to him.
So the banks usually do symbolic.
That's a procedure.
They do symbolic.
100%.
So when can this borrower take the stay order? Is it before the sale certificate is issued?
Oh.
See, technically, as per the law, the procedure is they can go to court till the issuance of, post physical possession, till the date of publication of sale notice. This is as per the Supreme Court ruling. They can sale notice. Till the time of publication of sale notice, they can go for redemption. They can go walk into High Court stating that I want this asset back, I am going to pay, and all of that. Post publication of sale notice, so even the Supreme Court ruling is there stating that you cannot have, borrower cannot go to either DRT or High Court for redemption because it literally defeats the whole auction process. So many buyers are coming, they are participating, purchasing, then the redemption happens, then the whole process gets defeated, right? It's a law. SARFAESI Act is a law. As per law, there is an auction process. Then if somebody can redeem at any point in time, the whole process gets defeated. It's because it's set by the law itself. So this is where, as per the rule set by even the Supreme Court ruling, borrower can redeem an asset till the time of publication of sale notice. But there are chances of, I spoke about redemption, wherein I am saying he wants my asset. But he can get hold of a lawyer and file a frivolous case stating that SARFAESI procedure has not been followed right? The valuation is not right, but all of this will not hold, in my experience. No, 1 or 2 months. 1 or 2 months. Bank, it's very, very fast. You will not see those timelines wherein we file a civil litigation, right? If I end up filing a civil litigation, my life is over, right? It goes to my son. My son has to fight, right? But in bank's case, it's all in months. See, eviction order, right? I told you, 36 months. The section 14 eviction order is issued within 30 days. Certain orders are issued within 7 days. Can you beat it? This is the kind of timelines that are there with the bank, right? If you and me have to evict somebody, it is 36 months. It can extend also if he keeps appealing and all of that. But not with the bank. The rules are strong. That's the reason we can also be in this business and do all of these activities. If any property that we are trying to sell is forever under litigation, under court stay is operating forever, for us to get into this business won't make sense. So that challenge is not there. 100%.
Some years back, 10, 15 years back, man colored bought an auction property. We bought it in DRT. They questioned the person who had borrowed passed away, leaving a will in the name of his wife. As a life interest. But given he has signed, they have kept on fighting.
Correct. See, this is an unnecessary case because
Supreme Court, 8 years.
yeah, it's an unnecessary case, right? Where they just went fighting, I think, because now again it all comes to rights. He has mortgaged the property, right? Property mortgage happened. Post that went in favor of. Okay.
Then in Supreme Court, he won.
Understood.
It took 8 years.
Then it all. I mean, lawyer was good at High Court, I think, against.
No, but auction properties, peaceful possession. The reason I'm asking, you also mentioned.
Physical, I mean, that's where you.
Fighting in court, it takes 2 generations, 3 generations. Let's say
Which one? Auction?
take
No.
possession of a property, then the original borrower will come, threaten, he'll bring his phone.
No, all that.
No, I have seen they use political influence because that is more easy. End of the day, they say let's do out of the court settlement.
Correct.
And so, in your experience, have you seen any such cases, or how do you deal with those cases?
See, if it's a litigation, you have to go to court, fight, hold a lawyer, and all of that, right? If somebody is coming to home and threatening and all of that, it can happen in any scenarios. This is where we say, boss, you have to call 112 because neither bank will come. Why will the bank come, right? Nobody will come. The bank will say, boss, I have given you absolute right. Sale certificate has been issued. Deed is also registered. I mean, the sale certificate is registered. You are holding the possession. It's your house. If some other random guy comes and threatens you, you file a police case. No, you can straight away file an FIR, right? You have to file an FIR.
That is the additional risk we may have to take in auction properties. Not necessarily.
Any property, even market property, it can happen. No, why do you think it cannot happen? The neighbor can what is that? Encroach. No, you have bought a site. Neighbor has built a compound wall taking your 2 feet. Now 2 into 30 is 60 feet is already consumed. Now what will you do?
See, in market properties, at least these transactions are visible. How I'll tell. Let's say you keep a property for sale. Your neighbor will get to know, someone else will get to know. The word of mouth, at least majority people will get to know. But all these bank auctions, not everyone sees the newspaper. It's very few.
Now, how this is a defense actually, if neighbor knows in all of these ways, how that is a defense?
No, finally they may come and say, we were not, same case, right? I was not aware, my father had mortgage, if I had known, I would have bought.
No, I mean, see, the defense has to be substantive, no? Anybody knows is not a defense. The defense has to be substantial. So he is saying there is a will that has been given, that wherein the borrower had transferred the rights in the form of will. Using that will, they questioned at court, right? There is a substance. The defense has to be substantial, otherwise, without somebody's son simply is coming and standing, you just have to file an FIR, call 112 and all of that.
You don't know.
That can't be a defense. And that can happen to anybody. Technically, it can happen to anybody. Anybody can question your question, you know.
Even in this scenario, right? Even if the owner would have sold to somebody else, and before dying, if he creates a will to his wife, the wife can still fight against him because he have bought it.
Correct.
Possible. That was my question. In market prices, property transaction, we have some ways we know what needs to be done. But in bank, we trust the bank.
No, it's the same code, same everything. It's the same law, no? I mean, how do you think it differs? Yeah.
And let's
Nothing differs
additional
actually.
Documents from bank before finalizing the property. For example, as simple as family tree. Will bank provide?
No, family tree is all public document, no? You have to, bank will not provide anything.
Public document. I don't know what is his family. I don't know what is his family tree.
No, you have to go to Panchayat, you have to get it from there.
So, on this bank documents, they took earlier 30 years of change titles. So
now they are not taking. I have done 2 property transactions recently.
Yeah, it all.
Maybe bank have checked only 15 years. We face the problem of from 15 years ago, any person is coming.
See, those due diligence you have to take care.
But documents should
Certified copies with the sub-registrar. Everything. See, if it's a registered deed, obviously you'll get it. If it's unregistered, you don't have visibility. See, previously, even in Bangalore, the GPAs were binaries actually. I don't know if you have come across any unregistered GPA, grant of power attorney. It was such a menace. Any people were afraid of acquiring a vacant plot actually because of these unregistered GPAs. In fact, we saw one transaction where the sister has sold 5 acres larger parcel, right, to a builder, and the builder has done plots, sold, right, sold to everybody. Loan has happened. Everything has happened. Now the thing is, the transaction between the sister and the builder is registered. but the sister, and there are 4 brothers who have given GPA to sister. Their rights have been given to sister to transfer that 5 acres to the builder. Now this transfer of rights from 4 brothers to sister, the GPA is unregistered. Now any day these 4 brothers can come and question, no? Stating that I didn't transfer, my sister fooled around. It's not registered. What do you expect?
Nowadays, bank is also because in tough competition of their loan, they are not trading so long. Like
No, I am saying bank is the seller. I am saying bank is the seller. In any sales, anything, they will always talk good, right? It is your, if you are throwing your funds, you are putting your hard money in, you need to be careful. I mean, the whole session is about that. You don't jump, right? Somebody said something, you don't jump. You please do your due diligence before you jump into anything, especially real estate, because the values are on the higher side. It's not 5,000, 10,000 rupees that you're putting in and don't care, right? You're putting in 50 lakh, 75 lakh, 1 crore, and you don't do the due diligence by spending 20, 30, I mean 15, 20,000 rupees. Then anything goes otherwise, you're bound to suffer. It's a suffering. It's a treadmill that you get into.
Services that AuctionDunia offers.
Yeah. So in this process of acquiring an entire bank auction property, right? First is we keep shortlisting properties. We keep putting it on, posting it on Instagram and all of these. If you shortlist any properties, they can help you with the visit, right? Once the visit happens, if you like the asset, you'll have to pay EMD. I'll fetch all the documents for you. Either you get the due diligence done from your advocate, or we can also help. We have advocates who can help you with the due diligence and give you a legal report, right? This is very, very crucial. Doing a due diligence of a real estate asset is crucial. Otherwise, it can go wrong anytime, right? I gave you so many examples, right? Once after due diligence, if it's great, you participate. We give you assistance through that portal access, how you log in, how you pay EMD and all of that. Once you participate, if you become the successful bidder, then we assist you with the next documentation, sales certificate vetting, TDS payment, right? All of this, see, we don't charge any commission, but any services that comes in, we charge. Like legal due diligence is a charge. There's a service that we charge. TDS payment we charge, right? If you want me to do khata, we charge, right? Either bank has to pay or you have to pay. It all depends on the bank. Certain banks, they pay to move khata, create khata in bank's name, or they ask the buyer to pay. Registration, we assist you, right? Post the registration, then the movement of khata from bank's name to your name, that is one of the services that we assist you. We can help you with BESCOM assistance. We can help you with BWSSB assistance. So we have a full stack assistance for you. And in future, we are working on this product. So we are coming up with some sort of protection mechanism wherein it's sort of an insurance post-bid, right? Where we will cushion you even if anything goes wrong, right? For example, if the borrower, any litigation that happens on SARFAESI auction or anything, we fight for you, right? 2 things can happen, worst case, right? Either I get your money back or I get the case quashed. 2 things. 2 are the end results that we can promise. Either I get your money back with a certain interest as per the RBI rules, or I get the case quashed and safeguard your title. 2 things can happen as an outcome in that whole process. So we are working out a protection mechanism in that.
So I buy the property now.
Yeah.
After 2 years, I am wanting to sell it. So
Right.
is there any additional document or something we need to have because this is still an option property?
No, not required. Not required. This is sales certificate itself is a absolute title transfer. Anyways, the preceding documents anyway bank will hand over to you. All the originals will be handed over to you, including loan application. See, even in that we assist you because it's very important what is that you are picking from the bank, right? See, there is something called, all these documents are centrally stored. It's not with a branch because these are originals. No bank wants to safeguard. It's all centrally stored. So the guy who is picking the document will randomly pick like this and give it to you. You don't check, you are in trouble. right? You need to see the preceding documents, all the original title, all the deeds, all the connections, and ensure that you have the right set of documents. There also we assist. Very, very crucial, right? Including loan applications. You should hold loan applications also, right? We always say that. You hold loan application also. Bank will give you. You don't ask you, they don't give you.
Go through AuctionDunia, so that EMD still we have to pay to bank only.
100%. I will not take EMD. If I am taking EMD, then I'm fooling around. I cannot take EMD technically. How will it? Because I am not the one who's selling asset. No, it's the bank who's selling asset. Yeah. No.
Like you will apply on behalf of your.
No, you pay the bank. I'll assist you to pay. Right? How to pay, how to recharge the wallet, how to create a login, all of that I'll help you.
I had a question. Sometimes we see some properties available on AuctionDunia, but the same property might not be visible on BankNet. So,
see, it might be from private banks. No? Private banks use other platforms. See, whoever that is part of BankNet will publish their properties there. Whoever that is not part of BankNet, for example, LIC is not part of BankNet. So LIC uses something called Auction Bazaar as a platform, right? HDFC is not. HDFC is part, I think. Not sure. I think before HDFC was using Auction Tiger. There's one platform called Auction. All of these are third parties, right? So like this, it depends on what platform they are part of.
got it. So, does that mean that every time you are paying EMD, it need not be through BankNet?
Need not be. When these third-party platforms are there, like this auction type, see, this BankNet has the credibility because it has been created by the consortium of the banks, right? That's why BankNet has been allowed to take EMDs into their account. All these Auction Tiger, Auction Bazaar, none of them are authorized to take money into their account. When these platforms are there, you will be paying EMD directly to the bank, right? You will not be paying to Auction Tiger or Auction Bazaar or blah blah blah. Because BankNet is a consortium of banks. That's why BankNet has the authority. They are the RBI has to authorize, right? Because it's public fund.
So if AuctionDunia is not receiving the EMD, how would you get to know that we have paid the EMD?
No, you will give me the screenshot of the wallet or recharge the wallet, or if you are paying a DD, you will give me a screenshot of the DD.
Okay.
Yeah. Or the picture of the DD. And you will, anyway, I'll be helping you submit the bid application and all of that. Once you pay EMD, we have to submit a bid application, right? I'll assist you with the bid application, right? And you just have to take a picture. Like if it's a BankNet, you just, wallet is recharged, you just click a picture, or if it's a DD, you just click a picture of the DD, that's it.
In case of BankNet, I don't want to pay BankNet, I want to pay directly EMD to bank. Is there option?
No.
You are saying DD something.
That is, whoever that is not part of BankNet.
Only for those cases DD.
Correct.
Whoever is coming into BankNet.
They will not take DD. They'll ask you to recharge on BankNet, 100%.
And what is the usual price difference between reserve price and the successful bidding?
It depends on the participation and the appetite. See, I mean, one last factor. You guys are there? Huh? Yeah. This is also very, very crucial and very, very important. I think good question. Now, what is the appetite? You should always put a ceiling on the appetite, right? I know I'm killing my own business, but I still want you to understand the fact that bank is selling the property on as it is, where it is condition. That means there are still liabilities that is going to kick in on you. There is a amount of liability, right? That is going to kick in on you. That means you need to understand what is the market price, what is the reserve price, what is the difference that is there, and how much I can go up to. And freeze. We have seen racing, right? So we have seen a property on auction. The reserve price was 30 lakh, right? Great price, right? Market price was around 55 lakhs. Right? It was a good price. 30 lakh is a decent price. But somebody personalizing it went up to 62 lakhs. Now, how does it make sense? You're acquiring more liability now. Even if you sell, it's going to go at 55 lakhs. On top of 62 lakhs, you are going to spend on registration, you are going to refurbish, you are going to pay all the dues, liabilities, blah blah blah. It will go up to 66, 67, right? Now, how does it make sense in terms of asset? It's not an asset. You literally acquired a liability, right? You have to wait another maybe 5 years, 8 years for it to become maybe 65 lakhs or 70 lakhs. It won't make sense, right? So you need to be really clear on what is the ceiling that you are going to set in terms of your appetite. You have money in your bank, great, but set the ceiling on the appetite, right? Simple formula, no? You need to inquire with a couple of realtors, call up a couple of realtors, research on square yards, research on no broker, understand, at least you can understand a benchmark.
Percentage can be taken as a safe ceiling, which can cover other expenses.
See, typically in a residential case, you know, if it's a 1 crore asset, okay, 1 crore asset acquiring by a bank auction, 2 to 3% is the liabilities that's going to kick in, excluding the 8%. See, 8% is 7% is always separate. Registration is always separate. So you keep that 2 to 3% markup on the liabilities, right? 3% you require to cover the liabilities.
And the 10% penalty on EMD comes only if I am not a successful bidder. Let's say for a property there are 3.
What 10% penalty?
You said to don't log in if you don't want to. Even if you log in and you are the only person there,
correct,
which means I am the successful bidder.
Okay.
Right. Let's say at that point in time there are 3 other people.
Okay.
And someone else wins the.
Yeah, I mean refund happens, no? 10%.
So 100% refund happens.
Oh, 100%. No? No, these are banks. They can't run away, right?
So only let's say I am the highest bidder, but I don't want to purchase, then I have to pay.
100%. It will get forfeited. The 10% you think that it will forfeit.
In such cases, when the highest bidder forfeits, does it be given to the second highest bidder?
No, one more auction. No, that can't be done. Because it is prone for litigation. Because he is not the successful bidder, no? So it will go into one more auction.
And that will impact my CIBIL if I want.
No, all these are not connected. So CIBIL is only loans are part of your credit bureaus, right?
Just like bank can damage something if I want to go after bid as well.
No. All these things are not connected to your CIBIL. Only loans are connected to your CIBIL.
Is there a particular day to inspect?
You were telling to talk to the nearby, realtors, the current rate. When I visited the recent property, the new property that they were quoting 1.7
Okay.
in that area.
Understood.
So what AuctionDunia EMD price was 1.17.
Correct.
And then so this is a 12-year-old building. That's a new building. So like how do we rate this when it's an older building? There is a depreciation as well, right?
When it comes to an apartment, yeah, you need to give out an average, right? See, what generally happens in an apartment as, so launch, it appreciates, it flattens out, and then for a long period it hovers around that price itself, right? Generally in case of an apartment, this is what happens. I bought it at 40 lakhs, it went up to 65, 70, and it hovers there. It flattens out. This is exactly what happens with an apartment, not with the land. Land keeps appreciating, but with an apartment, it flats. Once it flattens out, nothing, neither depreciates nor increments actually. It hovers there. It generally hovers there, right? So if you inquire around, you will get that what is that hovering price. So it keeps hovering.
The market price what you mentioned in AuctionDunia, is it SR rate or is it?
No, we generally mention the reserve price. I am putting out the reserve price.
There are 2 prices that you mentioned.
Yeah, see, market price is from our inquiry, right? From our inquiry. But I would still suggest you do your due diligence, right?
Usually, what is the difference for reserve price and market price?
No, it differs drastically, right? Certain banks can give up to, generally speaking, 15 to 20% is the difference that you get, right? It still differs. Certain times you get good deals, 100% possible. Yeah, but generally it hovers between 15 to 20%.
So, for example, I have bought a property for 1 crore, and I have made 40 lakh payment, and I'm due for another 60 lakh.
Okay. Okay.
So the bank will sell the property on the 60 lakh, or they try to recover it for 1 crore.
I mean, you're the borrower. You're the No, that is not connected. See, that's where I'm saying there is a valuator. who will evaluate the asset, he will fix up the price. That is not connected to your loan outstanding. See, if the asset gets sold for more, once adjusting that 60 lakh difference, you will get whatever the rest of the money. Yeah. So these two things are not connected.
There is a misperception among people.
Yeah.
Whatever left amount is outstanding, their bank failing that amount. But
No, 100% it cannot be connected. Why? Because I'll tell you one more case. We were trying to sell one asset in opinion, right? You guys would have seen one video, right? The asset, the reserve price is 45 crores. Loan outstanding is 1080 crores. Now, how do you connect? Do you want to acquire that asset at 1080 crores? Right? So it cannot be connected. 100% it cannot be connected. Yeah. So nobody will acquire that asset, right? So asset is asset, loan outstanding is loan outstanding. Whatever comes in, excess, if there is excess, it gets transferred. No excess, then they again come after the borrower.
So one
Yeah.
question. So what is the process followed by AuctionDunia to determine the market price of property?
See, that's what exactly we also do. We generally inquire around the local realtors, what is the running price and all of that, and do some online research and come up with that price, right? Come up with, we generally come around a conservative price, right? But I would say you do your due diligence. You can do, it's not a, now especially with all of these LLMs, you can still ask LLM to research on that area, SR price, blah blah blah, all of that. Call a couple of realtors in that area, Google you do local realtors in that particular area, call them up, I'm trying to acquire this plot, this asset, this apartment. Don't mention bank auction, but you're trying to ask him to help you out. 2 BHK, what is the going price? Whatever he says, you adjust another 10% because he'll always have a markup of 10-20%. You adjust some 10% and you come up with an average.
So whatever property you put on auction, can we get a like newspaper notice after that if we are
Possible. Yeah.
So if we have property we are interested in and we want to check the building or inspect the property for
No, 100%. Inspect the building.
Is there a particular date that we have to go to, or is it through the sale notice? Can we go anytime?
No, you cannot go to asset any time because it will be locked. See, what happens generally is all these assets are held by the bank, right? Now it is the responsibility of the bank to safeguard the asset till the time it's liquidated because it is with the bank. Now banks do not want any headaches, right? Nobody wants headaches. That's how the mindset is, right? Nobody wants headaches. So this is where certain bankers say, I will also come, you fix up a schedule. This is where it gets tricky for us to, certain assets, certain banks give us the keys. Certain bankers say, I will come, you schedule. Right? This is where it gets a bit tricky. You cannot visit anytime because it will be locked. If it's a vacant plot, you can visit anytime, right? So bankers are also obviously skeptical because anything goes wrong with an asset, banks will be looped. The bank will be looped, no, because the asset is held by the bank. So they are skeptical.
So in case of borrower death, bank do some communication with family or directly they put on?
No, there is a procedure. They again service a demand notice on the rest of the people.
Legal heirs.
Correct, legal heirs. They first determine the legal heirs.
Indemnity something required for auction or not? I don't know.
Indemnity, I'm not sure. Yeah. I'll have to check it. But who is going to indemnify you?
Court. Like this person is not there and nominee is not there, so we want that legal rights from a court.
No, that is anyway getting transferred via demand. I mean, they do the procedure. No, the bank is transferring those rights. See, what happens if the borrower is dead?
Not me. What to get some like this communication channel because borrower is not there, right?
Okay.
So his family, bank is not liable to discuss all these things with family. But on a document, if someone is coming,
No, bank is liable. 100%. No, without the legal heirs, right? See, again, it comes to rights. They have to transfer rights to you, right? Now, if the borrower is dead, the rights will flow.
Yeah.
Either to
liability will also flow, right?
Yeah. So rights will flow to the mother. Rights will flow to the wife. If the kids are major, rights will flow. There is a structure in terms of how the flow happens, right? Now all of these guys have to be looped in, otherwise how banks can transfer rights to you, right? Impossible.
I found one property in my team. It was with litigation because that person visited two wives.
Okay.
So
No, the second wife do not have any existence. I mean, do not have any legal right in Indian law. I think I'm not sure. Technically, I think Indian law do not give any rights. Possible? I'm not sure. Those, I think those laws are different, but I'm not sure. But what I feel is second wife do not have the rights. I am not sure. But you will check with your lawyer. I'm not the advocate. But I still.
Relatively, which properties are safer? Private or NBFCs or government funds? Because the SBI mandates that you have to do MOTD. HDFC, they take 0.5% as the stamp duty and they say that
No, MOTD is being done by everybody, right? Whether it's registered or not registered is the thing.
Okay, in that case, okay.
MOTD is a document which have the borrower deposit the title deeds.
Nowadays, this ICICI, HDFC, they don't register. Correct. They also got registered, but nowadays
they are not insisting. Only SBI
No,
does.
I think nowadays they are registering. Previously they never used to register.
Property in my home is in
Achha.
So which means if I have not deposited my title in SRO in favor of a bank, how will someone get to know? That's the difference between.
No, I think there's some confusion. So SRO is not connected here, right?
No. Where will you do MOTD in an SRO? Only then that transaction will be reflecting in your EC.
Correct. That is registration, right? Correct. Deposition doesn't happen with the SRO. Deposit happens with the bank.
No, that is right. But you have to
MOTD
should happen in SRO.
Correct.
When private banks are not mandating that registration happens.
Correct. I told you, no, it's not mandatory. I told you, no, you check with the SSI.
That was my question. In that case, relatively, banks like SB, Nationalized Bank, who insist that to pay the amount and get it done, they also give NOC saying banker cannot come. This is my NOC on my behalf. They can register.
Some banks give, other banks don't take.
Yes. So in that case, nationalized banks are far better because I can see the transaction history in EC.
Possible. Yes. Because nationalized banks only give loans also on khata. It's generally safer. See, again I'm saying risk versus reward. You acquire assets from NBFC, you do get better deals also, right?
Khata is for legal compliance. This challenge for charge is different challenge. Multiple people are coming after. So both are separate disputes.
Correct. So it's all about risk versus reward.
I had one question. Even though the documents are all pakka, it's all
okay.
How do we know that the SARFAESI Act has been followed to the
same legal due diligence? You will be given SARFAESI documents also. 100% you have to vet it, no? Because now one you have to vet the title documents. The other one you have to vet SARFAESI procedure. So same will be given to your lawyer.
You have a question?
I just take his question. I think he's waiting.
I have two questions.
Okay.
Once the 25% has been paid,
sure.
I want to take a loan.
Sure.
Now, the bank from which I am taking the loan asks for a khata, right? E-khata.
E-khata, they'll technically ask you for e-khata. Why? Because now without e-khata, they cannot register their MODT. If they are not registering their MODT, they don't care, right?
So this has to get done on my own. Bank will not.
Generally, see, bankers do not understand also. They don't know what is e-khata and this and that, which portal, where they have to go, where they have to punch. Nothing they understand, right? They can't run around with BBMP and all of that. It's impossible for them. If they expect if you expect banker to run around, your 90 days will be over, right? Your 25% will get forfeited.
So it's like every time e-khata has to be registered. Property saying like existing, a property cannot have existing e-khata.
It can, because it's e-khata is a recent situation.
Banker has to take this thing.
See, mostly the mortgages, now the NPA that's coming now, right? I mean, the properties that are coming for auction would have been, the loans have been done into 2020, 2019, 2018. Back then, e-khata wasn't there, no? They simply mortgaged. Now the e-khata is the recent situation.
Even if the e-khata is there, it's in the borrower, it's not in the bank.
Then the transition is pretty easy actually. The e-khata is existing in the borrower's name, transfer is very quick.
Let's say the sales certificate. So we will, as I said, the khata will be on the previous owner name.
Right.
That has to be transferred to the bank,
right,
and then to the purchaser, right?
Correct.
So when we suppose go to transfer to the bank, who will be the?
See, that's what I mean. Either certain we assist, or you have to get someone else's assist. But there is a in portal now. I think your major question will be: do borrower have to come to assist in all of that? They don't have to. Under SARFAESI, the process itself is there. Under SARFAESI, bank can transfer the khata sitting in borrower's name to bank's name under SARFAESI.
So they'll give a letter, or it will be already mentioned in the sales certificate.
No, it's an online portal. No, sale certificate is not required. I mean, even before you can transfer in the bank's name. After 25% sale confirmation is received, that is also not required. I mean, banks anyway mortgage is there. No, you can transfer create a e-khata. See, in your when e-khata gets transferred from bank's name to your name, all of the sales certificate is required.
Correct.
So from borrower name to bank's name, mortgage is enough. Mortgage is enough. Mortgage is enough. Yeah. I hope.
You mentioned about demand notice.
Sorry. Yeah.
So every time bank puts up for auction, demand notice has to be sent again and again?
No. That is only one step.
Once first time.
Yeah.
Okay, if the borrower has died, bank doesn't know the legal heads. So
No, they'll figure out. No, the advocates will figure out. They have to without. Then there is a procedural lapse. So let's assume they don't service demand notice on the legal heirs. It's a lapse of procedure.
But the first time they would have.
That is enough.
That's enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you mentioned about SARFAESI. Unregistered mortgage also has to be.
Have to. It's a mandate.
It's mandate.
I mean, if you are the bank, if you take something as a collateral, you have to register that collateral into SARFAESI.
And if it is registered mortgage, why is it compulsory? It's already registered.
See, easy transaction. It's not. That's why ICICI Bank, HDFC is not worried about it.
Why is it compulsory to put in SARFAESI? Because it's registered mortgage.
Because multiple funding used to happen, no? See, in an unregistered, multiple funding can happen, no? No, not every case, no. Not every case is registered. On an unregistered, not every case is registered. Right? So that's the reason they made SARFAESI as mandatory. It doesn't matter whether you register or do not register, but SARFAESI is mandatory. Please.
Sir, when can we receive the documents? After
See, I mean, it all depends on window and when you
after
approach.
limit of 25%.
No. What documents you are asking for?
I'm interested in some property.
Okay. Now, for your due diligence, you pay EMD and you get the documents.
I pay?
EMD, the 10% of the reserve price, you get the documents. You do the due diligence. If you are fine, you participate. Otherwise, you
I
back off.
participated and everything is done. I'm trying like 25%, 75%, I'm going for loan. Suppose the loan is not happening after I paid 25%. Will I get the treatment?
No, that's where I'm saying it will get forfeited. There is no concept of
whether it's happening or not.
So this is where I'm giving you that benchmark. No?
Bank also can't.
This is where I'm giving the benchmark. No, generally A khata will get funded. B khata, the funding is impossible.
Okay, I should be like.
This is a major marker for you. Kind of. I mean, then you can do the due diligence of the asset. If the due diligence is good, A khata you will get, right? If the due diligence is great, B khata, the chances are slim. Then you are taking a risk.
After I paid 25%, if I change my
No,
mind.
why do you want? If you change your mind, you have to forget 25%, 100%.
No.
Sorry?
Something you use by strong brain.
No, it's not. The strong brain is about registration. You are Tirupati Hundi only. Okay.
Last one. Silly question.
Okay.
And what are the chances, sir, after that last borrower, whatever it is, he can put case on me? Like,
No, the chances are slim. Right? I'm saying.
All the properties here are verified by you.
We do a hygiene filter. Like I said, tripartite. I don't list tripartite because it won't make sense. When the bank is not holding a right,
It's verified by you later on.
we have a hygiene filter. Right? Once you pay EMD documentation, then the deep due diligence will happen. I don't do deep due diligence because I don't have such time. Right? Huh? 1 or 2 days. Yeah, possible. All the documents. See, whatever that's available, we'll get it. Rest of the connections, we can get a certified copy from sub-registrar and all of that. Possible. EC we can generate. Sorry?
The bank would already have the documents ready as they're preparing for the auction.
No, that's why I'm saying it's centrally placed. So this is where it gets very difficult for just a buyer to assist through all of this. See, some procedure is there, from email has to happen to RH, from that email, then the access will be given. So many procedural stuffs are there. See, somebody can't simply walk into RH and pull the documents. It's all process driven, right? Any company, large company, is fully process driven. So that's where red tape builds up, and this is where it gets very difficult for any layman, a common man to get through all of these things. It gets tricky. Why the process becomes easier for us is because we are in that for such a long period. We know where, mail, what, who to call, all of that, right? As and how you be with it, it gets easier for you. That's how it is.
Instead of paying back 10% EMD, can we pay some fees to AuctionDunia and get maybe you can on our behalf purchase?
No, don't do all of that. If you pay some fees to me and don't pay EMD to bank, I'll go and have fun in Dubai. No, we can't take EMD. It's a public auction,
No,
right?
I'm not saying you take the EMD. I'm saying maybe let's say you go so many verified properties.
Right.
You may participate. I mean, you may pay EMD from your end to the bank, get the documents. You may verify, and you can resell the documents.
No, I don't have money for all of that. I don't have money for all of that, right? So I can only assist you through the process.
Provide all the mask original documentation. If successful deed is there, like successful auction is there.
Okay.
At the time of registration, they will put all the original documents which they have come forward, right?
100%. No, they have to. No, they have to. No, all the originals they'll hand over. They have to. I mean, that's how a real estate transaction works. Even if you buying from a market. No. Real estate transaction works like this, right? Even if you buy from a market, you have to get the originals. No, if the guy is not holding original, you don't even think of putting your hands into it, right? Then you are in trouble. If he is giving certified copy, as I explained, you are in trouble. And he'll tell all the stories that somebody looted it, I lost it, this happened, that happened, but you are in trouble.
Now in MP, in my own state, the registration is online. They don't have an original itself, it's a PDF. Anyone can get a color copy.
Okay. No, original deeds will be there, no? How online?
It's completely online.
Then the stamping will happen on that. That itself is a bona fide. Correct, digital signature. You cannot duplicate it actually.
Cross-check on the website.
Yeah.
It is easier basically.
Yeah.
Online now, fraud chances is less.
Yeah.
People can't go.
No, fraud is there. You need to be, wary of all of these aspects. You need to do your cross verifications, checks, and all of that. Otherwise, I mean, if you just jump on the offer, you can get stuck. Is what I'm trying to say. Don't just jump on the number, right? You understand what is it that you are getting into. I hopefully have answered most of the questions. Hopefully, I made it easy for you guys. I'll ask.
Is there any chance of bank rejecting our bidder form or application?
No, bank will not. No, bank will not reject. See, bank can cancel the auction if there are any procedural lapses. So there is no rejection as such. It can cancel the auction. Then again, they'll ask you to participate. Actually, if there is any procedural lapses, they should cancel technically, because procedural lapses can always be questioned and it can be set aside. Right? Procedure is a procedure.
They can't reject our application.
No, it's a public auction. No? They can't reject your application. Yeah. You can take a picture. One picture. Hopefully, I'm clear, right?
One more thing, if I am a successful bidder, I have to pay 75%. I got
Right.
a good deal.
Right.
You know the market price.
Right.
You can help me out to sell it.
100.
Within 90 days.
We are building that aspect actually. We are building that sales part. We are also saying auction.